gente. Welcome to Thursday night's episode of On the Block with Jen, or as Lily calls it, Freaky Friday Eve. How are you, darlings? Good to see you. If you're here for the first time, where you been? Doesn't it look like I've been waiting for you? Where have you been? Welcome. Buckle up. It gets bumpy here. I am Jen, YouTube's favorite and sexiest devil's advocate, if I do say so myself. Welcome, you guys. Good to see you here. Good to see you here. If you're catching the replay and you want to support the show, isn't it great that Cash App is open 24 hours? There it is scrolling at the bottom because mama got to keep the church lights on here. Believe it or not, this costs money, okay? So you can Cash App me, okay? That's where we can be discreet. A lot of people don't like other people seeing where their money is going. That's what Cash App is for. It's open 24 hours a day. So I could be doing my dishes, sleeping, and your Cash App will come through and I will get your message, okay? Now, if you want the world to know you are sponsoring On the Block with Jen, by all means, leave me a note at the Cash App and I will shout your name out. But as far as I'm concerned, that's between you and I, the Cash App is. Now, if you don't give a damn, like a couple of my chat people who don't give a damn who sees where their money is going, by all means, super chat me. It's a little $ right on the bottom right. Throw something in there and I can see your comment better when it's attached to a super chat. I'll throw it up on the board and me and my panelists will dissect. But that's how you get my attention immediately. And I'm not being apologetic about it, okay? Money fucking talks. Welcome to America. Welcome, American. All right, guys. So tonight's topic, whose fault is the violence and death in hip hop? I think there has to be some reckoning. What I love about the block is that we say it how it is, okay? Not how we want it to be, not how it used to be, but we talk about what it is, what's right in front of us. Now, a lot of people get offended, right? Although we live in a time where people, quote unquote, love the truth, right? Our most popular YouTubers are loved because they tell the truth, right? And there's a lot of truth that goes on here on the block. So hopefully we'll get the same love because we tell a lot of truth up in this bitch. And that's why I say buckle up when you're here. We don't do well. We don't play well with people that are in their feelings a lot. Now, anyone and everyone is welcome up to the panel, but you must show your face. We don't argue with avatars here. You can take that to them raggedy ass, YouTubers who argue with people behind avatars. We don't do that here. This is the block. You got to say it with your face. And we appreciate your faces. Conversations are better when we can see your face. See, I'm showing my face every time I say something. Right? All right. So we appreciate the same. Couple things going on in the media and in the news that are interesting, and I don't discuss them without the Lily. So without another feather, before we get into this whole hip hop thing, okay, that it's time that we have a very, very candid talk about, okay, without pulling in other races, right? Because we do that a lot. Every time something's going on in our community, yes, our community, the Black and brown community, we have the habit of pulling in, right? The whites, right? Regarding everything. Now, although we have some lovely white folk that came up with us, we don't have to pull them into every conversation regarding what happens in our communities, right? There's a lot of whataboutisms online. Well, what about them over there? Well, what about them over there? Yeah, our people sexually assault people, but what about them over there? Yeah, our people kill people, but what about them over there? We don't do that here, right? Fuck your whataboutisms. We're going to say it how it is. And if you don't like it, need I remind you, 50 million channels on YouTube. Go pick another one. All right, guys. So again, welcome. Glad to see you here. Without another feather, let me bring up the always and talented Lily from YB Limited. And I hope you guys are following. You can see her name right there in the chat. All you have to do is click on that, click subscribe, and come right back. We will be right here, I promise you. Okay? Lily.
What about the Eskimos?
They're cold. They're cold.
Oh, they too cold to be doing shit. They be like, you know what?
It's too fucking, I ain't messing with y'all. It's too fucking cold outside. Y'all can kill each other without me. It's too fucking cold. Okay. How are you, Miss Lily? Good to see you. I love the color on your eyes. Those earrings are life.
Thank you. So I decided to go springy because I was like, hold on, it's spring.
Mm-hmm.
And it was hot here today. Like, it was humid. It was like almost 80 degrees.
Oh, so they acting up in New York. They acting up back home?
Baby, and I was in the Bronx. I'm back home, but I was in the Bronx all day. Bestie comes home tonight. He got his wings.
Congratulations.
Yeah, so I was over there getting his place straight and everything like that. And I went outside and I was like, oh, y'all outside. Oh, y'all
Yeah.
outside.
Yeah.
Yeah, whole nother
New York,
neighborhood.
New York. Bronx, stand up. Bronx, stand up. Um, and here I am giving y'all the Steve Jobs tonight. Okay.
I noticed that I was looking at this. I'm watching you on TV as I'm looking at you do the introduction, and I'm like, it's Freaky Friday Eve. Where's the freaky for the Friday?
Listen. If you're new here, Freaky Friday, we talk about sex, love, body parts, what have you, all kinds of freaky things. And along the week, right, we remove our clothes more and more and more. So that is what Lily is referring to, like, where are the boobies, right? But I was like, you know what? I felt real New York tonight because we are talking hip hop. So I was like, I feel different today, okay?
I
But
get it.
tomorrow's Freaky Friday, okay? So you guys will get all of that mañana, but you got to show up. You got to show up.
Right. You'll be redeeming yourself tomorrow. But I still
Absolutely.
love the look.
Thank you.
I was just looking for a little more sluttiness.
Tomorrow, Lily. You know, I got plenty of that in my back pocket now.
Baby. I'm like, I gotta go into the reserves because I got some stuff back there.
Yay. I love the hoops though. You know, they say the bigger the hoops, the bigger the attitude. Is this true?
Oh yeah, it changes my attitude. Like clothes change my attitude. Like
It
they
does.
just, they bring out the certain little moods and attitudes and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So and that's why like my closet is such an array of different things because I don't know. I may feel like a fairy princess that day, or a geisha, or
Right,
a hood chick,
right.
like whatever. And we are able to do whatever we want to do, and that's the beauty of it. As long as we're not hurting anyone.
Absolutely. And I love clothes that I'm sure you'll understand this description, Lily, but I like clothes that has an attitude on its own before you put it on. And then when you put it on, like your body and your personality along with that outfit is kind of like, you wear it like it will look completely different on another person than
There
when
you
you
go.
wear it. Right.
Yes.
So, and I'm like the $10 store queen. So honey, trust me. Okay, when I tell
What?
you.
I'm the queen of thrifting, okay? You can scroll down my entire social media of ever that I've ever had, and you will
Mm-hmm.
never see me bragging about name brands, and unless I got a check for it.
There you go. Now you guys want to send me some shit, I'll be more than happy to wear it. But no, I'm not.
Yes.
I'm not breaking the bank for anybody's name, but my daddy. Okay,
Right. Right. Like,
sorry.
no, I'm not, especially for somebody who probably don't like you in the first place.
That's another good point. That's another good point.
So it's like, and then the thing is, this is how I look at it. There's too many black and brown indie designers out there that are dope, that are
Oh
so
yes.
dope.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, like being a fashionista and a foodie,
Mm-hmm.
I take those things seriously. So
Right.
even though I like inexpensive, I don't like cheap. There's two different things.
Very much so.
I don't
Very
like
much
nothing that
so.
looks cheap, but I don't like to pay a lot of money unless it's
Right.
something like a one of a kind. It was made by hand. It's
Right.
classic. Then
Right.
I'll go ahead and dip a little deeper. I'll go a little deeper into the purse.
There was one designer who saddened me. His death saddened me because I'm not a label whore like, most women or a lot of women, but I felt like Gianni Versace was a true artist. Like
Not
his
Donatella.
hands, not Donatella, not no, not not Versace, right? Gianni Versace. I felt like his hands, he was so gifted and looking at designers, my dream was like for him to design something for specifically for my body and my measurements, and I'll never have that because Johnny's gone. But hopefully one day maybe there's a little size 2 somewhere in a back closet somewhere no one's ever seen. They could blow the dust off of it, you know what I mean, and hand it over to me one day. But that he was like the only one that really caught my eye as far as designers, because he was an artiste when it came to clothes, but
He
he's
was
gone
the
now.
first one to get me like deep into fashion.
Okay, I can see that easily.
Oh my God. Like I was always into fashion since I was a kid. And I look at my
Mm-hmm.
niece because she's so much like me and
Mm-hmm.
my mother. I'm like, oh, that's in her DNA. Like she's 3. She's about to be
Mhm.
4, but she's been dressing herself since she was 2. And not just dressing herself,
Oh
she has style, baby. Like Miss
no.
Thing, when she's going to school, she's going to have her shades, she's going to have her accessories, her bag, her glitter, I mean, it's going to be like, she is my spirit animal. And I'm like, oh my God, I love you. But
Too
I was like
cute.
that.
Too cute.
And so, but it was
Yeah.
Versace that really pulled me into the
Yeah, he's
fashion world. And then
amazing.
oh my God, in the 90s? What?
Yeah, like he really could have been, you know what I mean, a painter, a sculptor, or he just had those hands, right? He
Yes.
wasn't just like, well, let me throw on, my name on a cotton t-shirt. He was amazing, 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 amazing. Um, but anyhow, yeah. Hotels says this is Marcos Orlando, by the way. My channel got terminated. Too much for YouTube. Really? What were you doing over there on YouTube? Why you got terminated? What were you doing? I want to know what you were doing.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for the compliment.
Yes, thank you, love.
Hotels is into the look. He says Gianni Versace, my son Margella, and Rick Owens. I don't know who Rick Owens is. I'll look him up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm super like, oh, I'm frugal. I'm frugal as fuck,
Me
man. And I'm
too.
cynical. And I'm cynical as fuck. So I'm always that lady at the store, like, why is this cost? Where is it coming from? What's the stitching look like?
Stitching.
How is it gonna hold up in the wash? Do I have to hang dry? Like I'm very yeah. You don't want to
That
go shopping with me. You want to give me money and send me on my way. You do not want to go shopping with me.
Oh God, yeah. I don't even want anyone to go shopping with me because of all of those things. I don't want nobody standing on me, hovering over me, talking about they're
Don't
ready
you
to
hate
see.
that?
I don't
Don't you
want
hate
none of
that?
that. Just because I go in a zone. Let me be in my zone.
Right. But we did good. We went shopping together.
We did, and we had a lot of fun.
We had fun. We did good. But because we both like it, that's why.
That's what it is. Because people who don't, especially if they don't like thrift shopping, I don't want no one
Yeah.
who doesn't. If you don't understand thrift shopping, don't come with me.
Right. Right.
Don't come with me.
And it takes a long time to thrift shop. It's not you can't
Yes.
it's not like a regular store. It's like, okay, the pink shirts are there and the red shirts are there. It's like you really have to look through everything. So
That's the
it's a
fun of
different
it for
type of
me.
shopping. Mm-hmm.
I like, and you know why? The creativeness in us, it appeals to us, the artist in us, because when I go into a Macy's or something, I'm always just looking around like this is so boring because they got the
Mm-hmm.
pieces already together,
Yeah.
it's sets, and then you see 16 of the same thing, and I'm like,
Yeah,
this
so I can
is
see that. I can see that. That's probably why I like it too. Like it's always like discovering little gems and stuff, whether it's clothes or like little knickknacks or something. Or something I go with this. And I remember my friend used to make fun of me. He used to tell me. Actually, he was good to go shopping with. And he used to tell me when I went shopping to a regular store, he said that I would just pick something out and be like, okay, this is close enough, but I'm gonna make it something else.
yeah, that's how I
Right.
am.
This is close enough. This is close enough. I'm gonna change it to something else when I get home. So it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. But yeah, I don't like spending a lot of money on clothes. And plus, I ain't never been kicked out of nowhere, so I'm doing good.
Right. Right. I done showed up to some of the best places. I walked into an event last year, not the moment I walked through the door, the first person that was standing there was Beyonce and Billy Porter's main stylist, Ty.
Hmm.
He was
Hmm.
standing as soon as I walked through, he said, "Bitch, where did you get?" And I was like, see, and you see what I'm saying? Straight out the thrift store, baby. Straight
You're
out
like
the thrift store.
you're like, yes. Speaking of, I do see you, No Saint. I'll bring you up in a minute because you ain't got nothing to say about girl shopping, okay? I see you, No Saint. I'm bringing you up.
He probably gonna tell us how Erica be doing them.
Hello, No Saint. How are you?
Hello, hello. How was everybody?
Really good. Right?
Coochie, ya, ya, yay.
Okay. No Saint was knocking on the door in the private chat. Do you see me? Do you
Like,
see
I'm
me?
back here.
Like, open up the damn door. I'm outside. I'm like, somebody open the door for No Saint.
Right.
I'm telling you, that's what beginning to wonder. It's been sitting there.
I know. I see you. I
Well, I
see
mean,
you.
thrift shopping, I've done it before. I mean,
Mm.
what's a good idea is like if you can find those neighborhoods, which in New York, I'm sure you can. You go to the good neighborhoods and you find really good stuff at the thrift store. And then there's sometimes you'll find things like I had a friend, he'd go in there and he just Google something and he found like a gem that was worth like, I can't remember how much it was. Not a gem, literal gem, but
Right.
I can't even remember what it was at this point. But he
Mhm.
found something that was worth quite a bit of money that was sitting there, and it's just like, it's crazy sometimes what you find at those thrift stores. But yeah.
You never know. I stopped going, like literally I stopped going for years, and I went with Lily because it was Lily. But I told Lily I don't like thrift shopping anymore because I'm all about energy.
Yeah.
Right. But I went with Lily and it was a lot of fun. But I enjoy it. It is, and I worked at a thrift store one time, like for close to 2 years. And it's amazing what people bring in, like, our older folks, our parents, our grandparents, like they really save shit that goes in the trash or to the thrift store. And every single week we had loads coming in of boxes and boxes and boxes. It was boxes from like children coming in, children of the people that passed away, just like, we don't know what to do with this. So every single week it was boxes and boxes and boxes of older people that have passed away, and we're just saving shit and saving shit and saving shit. So I would say to the older folks, I would say, try not to leave that burden on your kids because they really don't know what to do with this shit. They really like every week we heard the same story over and over again. My mom passed away, my dad passed away, my grandma passed away. We got all this shit. We don't know what to do with it. And sometimes we would find money in there and jewelry in there. Like we could not process any box. Like I don't care if it was a book. Like our boss was like, flip every single page because there'll be like $100 bill in there. So we would find money, jewelry. Like we could not like take a book out the box and put it on the shelf. Oh, hell no. Did you check that box? Did you check that? And we would find money. We would find cash.
So I've found money before, but for me, part of it is a hobby because I buy and resell. So as a hobby, and baby, the gems I have found and what I've paid for it, I'm looking around like, so I got a mink coat. I have a full length mink in there that I paid $15 for. That's worth, I think, $3,500.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I got so many stories. Like I got a Prada bag that I paid $8 for in there that I need to resell. It's so many different things. It's just, especially up here, like you said, no, say this is a fashion capital. There's more clothes than you know what to do with up here. You can get an entire outfit cheaper than a meal up here. No lie.
I did find a little hip hop gem which I like a lot. It's a leather bag and it's round and it's the 8-ball. Remember the 8-ball jackets in New York City? So I guess way back then someone took that and made a purse out of it. And that I want. Like I couldn't get rid of it. It's over there somewhere. I was gonna grab it to show you guys, but it's over there somewhere. And it's an 8-ball purse. And I'm like, I'm a hip hop kid, so I kept it. When I saw it, I was like, oh my God. My boss was like, what the fuck is that? And I'm like, it's an 8-ball jacket purse. But he was white, so he had no idea why I cared about the 8-ball.
That's what I'm about to say. A lot of times they that's why they price it the way they price it, because they don't have to looking at.
Yes, they have no idea. And they do it backwards too. Like I was watching Storage Wars and this guy pulled out an old ass raggedy Rockaway jacket. He was like, look, this is designer. I was like, no one's going to want that. You don't know we don't wear Rockaway anymore.
Right. Exactly. Like,
he was like, look, it's designer. I'm like, no one cares about Rockaway anymore. Unless he brings it back like the way FUBU came back. But I think FUBU is way more classic than Rockaway. Just saying.
Yeah. But you know what? There's a vintage store up here. I mean, a lot of vintage stores, but there's one in particular I'm thinking of in my head. I walked in there and I got so nostalgic because I felt like I was on the set of Martin and I was on this show, on that show, and this music video, like it, because it was the actual original stuff from those time periods. So it just had so much, they love vintage here in New York. Like, oh my God, what? The young people love old clothes down here. Like they just, like, it was so funny. If you walk on the streets now in New York, all the young people look like they step off of a 90s movie set or
my daughter is pissed that I didn't keep more of my clothes. She was like, Mom, like, why didn't you keep more stuff? So she wears a lot of the stuff that I used to wear in the 90s.
Yes.
Like my Playboy jackets and my FUBU stuff. And she was like, Mom, why you didn't keep more stuff? I'm like, I don't know. I wasn't thinking you were going to run around in this 90s stuff. But I wish I did. I wish I had kept more. And I have some of my mother's stuff from the 70s.
I have my grandmother's stuff. Yep.
like a fitted vintage butterfly collar, like poet sleeve, like beautiful. I have two of them and they fit me. So, my mama don't fit in those no more,
Right.
but I do. So I was like,
Right.
I'll take that and I'll take that.
I
And you
stay
don't
taking my
need that.
grandmother's clothes.
Right. So shout out to the elders. I got two really good compliments today that I'm excited about. I got it's nice to see you keeping your foot on their necks. I appreciate that. Thank you so much to the person who told me. I did tell him salute. And some other guy told me today, don't flatter yourself. You act like a dude. You act like a man. That's why people come watch you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. I appreciate that. I don't know why people, and I mean this sincerely, I don't know why people think that that's an insult to me because I admire men. So, so it's like when someone tells me that, I'm like, oh, you see my daddy. Right. When you say that to me, I'm like, oh, you see my daddy. Right. Because I looked up to my dad. Sorry, I had one. I looked up to my daddy. So, I would wear his clothes to high school, like his big lumberjack shirts. I was all about my dad. I wanted to walk like him and talk like him. Growing up, I saw the boys made more money when they worked at the supermarket packing bags. I wanted to do that. So I went and I packed bags like the boys. I wanted to dance like the boys and play like the boys. And then the boys were, of course, stronger than me. So they started delivering groceries and I was pissed I couldn't push that fucking cart because I was like, they making more money than me. But
I don't
I
find it
love,
as I don't find it as an insult either.
right.
Like, I don't think it's an insult. And maybe because I have such an attraction to pretty women who can tap into their masculine energy and are unapologetic about it, but are
Right.
still feminine, right?
Mhm.
Like, I don't know. I have a crush on, like, I'm like thinking about all my like girlfriends, and I'm like, a lot of them, they're just so strong and just so assured of themselves. And I don't know. I don't like the whole timid. I can't stand a timid, like, damsel in
Right.
distress. Like, we
Right.
do that when we need to do, when we trying to get some shit. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? When we trying to get some shit. But, like, I don't like when they live their life like, oh my God, like,
Yeah,
bitch,
no.
go bye. Like,
Yeah, it is annoying. I remember an incident in a group of girls that I was in, and one of them was soft like that. And I'm not gonna get into it now, but I was just like, yeah,
girl.
she learned that day. Don't do that shit around me when
Mm.
we're in a situation, a life and death situation. But
Exactly. You
but
need to be able to pull off your heels like the rest of us and get the business and then put them back on and still be cute. Like, what is your problem, girl?
right. Do you see how many of these bitches is over here? So yeah, no, so I take that as a compliment. I know dudes try to say that to insult, but I'm like, that means you see my daddy, and that makes me proud because I looked up to my dad. My dad, he was still a tyrant. But I look up to him a lot because of what he was able to do coming here from Puerto Rico with no money in his pocket and then
Right.
going all the way to owning property and what I mean, just working two jobs and taking care of his family and shit like that. So I'm like, thank you for the compliment. Yes, I am masculine. Yes, I do act like a dude. And I thank you for that. And thank you to the other gentleman who is like, he likes seeing me keep my foot on their necks because that's what I'm going to continue doing here at On the Block with Jen. So, with that said, I wanted to talk about some shit in the news. Did you hear the Virginia teacher who was shot by the 6-year-old? Yes, I said 6 years old. Yes,
Okay.
I said 6 years old. She is now suing the school system for $40 million. And I'm still pissed. We don't know who the little boy is. I want to know if he's black, white, Asian, Latin. That has not been revealed. If anyone in the chat or anybody lurking or anybody watching knows the race and name of this little boy, please drop it. Please drop it. I'd like to see it, or email me on the block with Jen. Let me see something. If your ears to the street more than mine is, let me know. But they are protecting his identity. 6 years old, shot his teacher, almost killed her ass, but she is alive. And now she's suing for $40 million for negligence. Word on the streets is there were like two adults that knew he had a gun that day and didn't do anything about it.
What do you say to that?
I
What?
sip.
Yeah. I mean, but at this point, the things that we're seeing are like beyond sick, and we got to come up with new words or something to describe some of this stuff because,
I think that's what we should do. I think some new words are in order.
yeah, we need to start, voting on new words because this is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Mhm.
I was about to say because Rob just said that he heard or he read that the young kid was white, and I was going to say chances are this is a little white kid if they're going this far to protect his identity. Because if it was a little black kid, we would have definitely known in the first 10
Yeah,
minutes.
that's what Larry Grant
Well,
just said. I mean, that's a good point,
I,
but I don't know.
yeah, we have to definitely have to. You see, you couldn't find anything on it.
Couldn't fucking find it. What's up, East Scrapple?
Oh yeah, Larry Grant did just say the same thing. Yep.
Yeah. So I don't know, but they're not, they're not releasing it thus far. But they were saying that kid
True
had
though.
that kid.
They would not show his face. I'm
They
sorry.
would have been like, "Look at
He's
the
a
little
minor.
Negro.
He's a minor. They wouldn't have
Look
shown
at the little
Well,
Negro.
they
He
definitely
did it."
want to. Yeah, they definitely couldn't show his face, black or white. I do know that, and they're really
Mm.
not even supposed to tell his name.
Right.
But
Okay.
but the way they would have done it if he was black, they would have done it through the parents. They would have shown the parents
That's
doing one of
why
these
I'm
numbers
curious.
or something.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
telling you.
curious.
True.
I'm curious because I thought maybe these cases could all be running together too. I thought I saw where they did show it was like his I don't know, his aunt or somebody on TV.
No, Saint, that is so funny that you just said that.
Mm.
Because I'm like, this is so crazy because a lot of the time, like so much is going on back to back that a
Right.
lot of these things are running concurrent. Like they're just
Yeah.
running, and I'm mixing stories up.
And you're like, "Wait, which one? Which one is this one?"
Did
Mhm.
she, I thought you shot her. Oh, no, you shot him.
No, that's the one that happened in Virginia.
Oh,
That's the one that got shot in
you're
Virginia.
Kentucky. Oh, okay.
Right.
But
No,
did
no,
you
that
sleep
one.
with a kid? Oh, no,
No, that was
you don't. I'm
that
sorry.
was in Ohio. That was in Ohio.
Right.
Oh, you spilled some chemicals. No, you didn't. No, okay. I'm sorry. Like,
Okay, I thought you was doing that, but it wasn't you. Okay, it was the other guy. My bad. Florida. Okay. Yeah. So that's a. I'm sure she'll get some money. Doubt it'll be 40 million, but she'll get her some money.
Oh
and
yeah.
I'm gonna need her to get
Um,
some.
yeah. Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, a 6-year-old. I have a 6-year-old, a grandson. I have a 6, and I can't even imagine. Like he loves dinos. He loves dinosaurs. I can't even imagine a 6-year-old. The mindset of a 6-year-old that's like, where that gun at? I'm taking this gun to school. And if the teacher pisses me off, I'm a shooter at 6 years old. And little kids are
What state was this again?
Virginia.
That's another weird state. Yeah.
That's like Florida, man. Florida, man.
Florida has the weirdest crimes. Florida and the Bronx seem like they have the weirdest crimes known to man. Like, like what? Who decided to do that? Like, it's the weirdest stuff in Florida. I don't know. I don't know. It's a weird place.
Florida, man. Cash App founder stabbed to death. Okay. Cash App founder stabbed to death. Now, when I heard Cash App, I was like, holy fuck, a billionaire. But he was only worth like $10 million, which is shocking. And I say only $10 million is a lot of fucking money. I'm talking about tech world.
Oh, well, there's a tech world. They have more money than God.
Right. So I was expecting to see $50 billion, but he was worth 10 million. I also heard he sold Cash App because people are trying to, it's funny online, whenever someone wealthy or popular dies or something bad happens to them, they catch it. There's always a conspiracy. And I'm like, what? I'm like, what is it with you people that you think that celebrities or famous people or wealthy people aren't human beings and they don't get murdered and they don't get sick and they don't have tragedies and they don't break up and they don't divorce and they don't marry and they don't piss and they don't eat and they don't shit? Like, what is it with you people that you think it's a conspiracy? It's the Cash App founder who sold that shit and was minding his business in San Francisco.
I will say,
merry business.
I will say in this particular case, I can see why. Because I have been following these things for the past 2 years. And the people who have been following it does look a little suspicious because there have been and so I was actually surprised when this one made the news because most of them don't make the news. But there has been a long, and I mean extremely long list of the tech people who've just been like either S word or M word over the past 2 years. It was between tech and crypto. They've been literally dropping like flies. So I was kind of shocked that they made this one the highlight, because I'm like, this has been going on consistently. I'm talking about consistent, like I don't even know how many a month. So yeah, so I see why in this particular case they're like, something's a little weird. Like, and I don't believe in coincidences. I just don't. So it's just something. It's just something that I'm not gonna put. I don't put nothing past nothing, and I don't put nothing past nobody, because one thing I do know is truth is way stranger than fiction. So I can see why in this particular case some people's eyebrows have been raised, because even I was like, oh, this one's publicized. Okay, interesting, and I just kind of left it alone.
Okay, so then you're well versed in this, because I'm just like, it's a fucking white man in San Francisco who got stabbed to death. People die. People die every day, B. But do you think, Lily, in dissecting it, like we're talking about rappers that are getting killed every month, right? So could there be a connection with that level and lifestyle and that money bracket where they live a certain type of life that we're not privy to? Because when you look at, we could say it's a conspiracy with the rappers. I mean, every month, and the biggest names in the game: Tupac, Biggie, Nipsey Hussle, Pop Smoke. These are big names. XXX, like these are big names. Like, does it just come with that territory? Is the crypto, Bitcoin, Cash App, big tech world? Do they have some sort of underbelly that we're not privy to?
Yes, actually. When you start digging through the tech world, they are dirty. That's a dirty. I'm surprised they don't have like no TV shows and stuff behind how dirty they are. Like you talk about the level of undercutting and backbiting. I'm talking, it's something out of like a best-selling novel, or like good movie, like well-written movie. It is a lot that goes on. So like that's another reason why I'm like, yeah, I can see why people can feel away. And then like you said, with the hip hop as well, because it was like Tupac and Biggie. And then from there, it was like, if you were to do like a chart, it's like just steadily.
Oh, the chart would be crazy.
You see what I'm saying? So it's just like, and another thing you could add to that too. Since we started off talking about school shootings, we had Columbine, and then that chart has just, and now we're at the place where we don't even know who shot who and what state it was. Child, they didn't all shot everybody. I can't keep up, right? So I don't know. I mean, what is it? There's something clearly going on, and I also do believe that everything in this universe is connected somehow, some way. So what the connection is, I don't know.
So let me ask this, right? Let me ask this. Can it just be that human beings are like any other living thing, right? When we look at, let's turn on Animal Planet. We're not really thinking about it, are we? But here we are. Oh, there goes the third zebra within the last 15 minutes who got his ass chewed off. And there goes the lion, that blah, blah, blah. And there goes, there's a certain, system that the animal kingdom has. If you watch an insect special on Animal Planet, you see the little spider, right? You see the little spider that does the little web, and he traps his little bugs like that. And then, oh shit, there goes another dead fly. Do you think that maybe human beings are exactly the same way, and we kill each other off at the same pace, and we abuse each other at the same pace, and we abandon our children, and some of us raise our children well, depending on what animal you are? Can it just be that? And because we're the thinking animal, we put more on it than there has to be. But there's every organism is killing something else in order to survive, or thinking that they need to kill something else in order to survive. Can it just be this is how humans are?
I would go with that if it was more consistent. But what is wrong with us humans that we are just killing left and right, like more than ever?
Virus. Agent Smith said it. We're a virus.
I mean, I am like, oh my God, us humans. It's like, what we are seriously, clearly devolving every decade, every year. Because I literally try to play this game with myself where I'm like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
let me go into optimism mode and let me try to find in areas that we're evolving.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know how difficult that is to play that game? Like
Mm-hmm.
in today's, like, I'll be trying
I'm
to find.
sorry you had to go through that.
Like, can someone play with me? Because I'm losing. I'm
Right.
losing against myself. So it's like we're animals. They don't have leftovers. They don't have litter and stuff. They are in harmony with nature. They get it. We're supposed to be the thinking ones, right?
Right.
But they're in harmony with nature. They understand that everything is connected. They
Mm-hmm.
understand their role, right? We just
But Lily, but animals are better than us.
they are.
All right, let's stop it right now.
Animals are better
I
than
gotta
us.
say something. I gotta say something.
Wait a minute. Before you say so, hold that thought and don't forget, no saint. I just wanted to look at this comment. Humans love violence. We're low key primal. This is from way back in Caesar when they used to throw human beings in with lions. We like blood. We like sport.
Yeah.
That is innate. Continue, no saint.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. There are a couple of things I want to split up. I want to talk about why some of the things may be happening.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But when it comes to primates, with the exception of gorillas, well, chimpanzees, let's just say chimpanzees are very violent, with the exception of bonobos, which were an offshoot of the chimpanzees, who are not. And humans are violent. I think that, first of all, where we evolve in cognitive evolution has evolved. But the basic, and when I say cognitive, I mean the ability to fight disease and things. That's why our population right now is so huge, is because we're able to fight off a lot of diseases. And we know where a lot of diseases come from, that we're not dying off like we used to. We're not having 12 kids so 2 will survive and things like that. But with that, we have a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people with a lot of time on their hands, because they're not out there trying to survive, catch the food, make a fire. We just have a lot of time, and a lot of time to look at what other people might have and a lot of time to think about, can I get away with that? Can I get away with it? And that's one part. Another part is sometimes you get into a situation where you might not intend to be killing something. Now, I'm not talking about the school shooters. This is something that comes with, I think, people having a lot of time and to be bored, to be depressed about their life, to be angry at other people. But what I wanted to say to Lily. So anyway, what I was saying was that so I think that's part of it. We have a lot more people today with a lot of time, a lot of jealousy. If you're out there starving, trying to look for food, trying to survive, you don't have as much time. Being you're not in proximity to somebody who has that stuff that you're going to steal it from, right? That you want to take it from. But what I want to say, I want to say is this, that what Lily was saying, animals don't consider anything. Animals just do what animals do. They're pre-programmed at birth. They're not thinking, and sometimes they do. If elephants get into a certain situation where humans are subjecting them, you see an elephant once in a while come out and start swinging. You know what I mean? But in nature, like you're saying, they're not going to waste, because I don't believe they know what waste really is. If they thought that they could come into a place and just get as many humans as they want, sometimes animals do that, though. Sometimes animals actually kill, especially chimpanzees. Chimpanzees are evil.
Go chimps. I'm team chimp.
But anyway,
get them humans.
I mean, it has nothing. So I just think overpopulation, and believe it or not, in areas like the United States, and a large amount of resources, and not having to really do much to acquire those resources, gives you a lot of free time to do a lot of things. And that's what I think.
So I feel like you're onto something. So basically you're saying we're those rats in that experiment that lost their. Okay, that sounds about right. Because when I was watching that experiment, all I was seeing is now the breakdown of society.
And this country specifically.
specifically. Yes.
Right, because when I think about, no, Saint, you made a good point. We have a lot of time, like especially that last school shooter. I'm like, you stupid bitch,
Right.
like you stupid bitch. Like it wasn't even like a, oh, you must have been torn. Like it literally now it's starting to look like it's a trendy thing to do. Like
I'm
that's
going
what
out. Yeah.
it's literally looking like. I'm going out with a bang. You don't
Right.
like me? I'll show you. Let's go to a kid's school. And now people just copycatting it. Like,
And
what's the best way? What's the trend in suicide this week? I know, shoot up some little kids and then off myself and let the cops do it. Like it's literally that's I'm like, you stupid bitch. Like if you were really that hell bent on offing yourself, you should have just offed yourself. But you have to include the children because that's the trendy thing to do now. You can't just be a school. You can't just commit suicide. You gotta be a school shooter. And then commit. That's literally what it's looking like. Where it's like, oh, this is gonna be y'all new thing. I don't know how it's I don't think it's preventable. But anyway, aside from that, going back to what No Saint is saying, I often wonder in other countries, be it, I don't know, we don't even have to go that far away. We don't have to go to Iraq or Iran. What about Canada? What about London? What
Right.
about, you know what I mean? What about
Right.
Australia? What about Paris? Is it as bad as it is here?
It's
And
not.
with a guess, I'm going to say no.
It's not. And that's the thing. Like, so that's saying a lot, right? The evidence, you got to go by the evidence. That's clearly saying a lot. Like if you were to, I wish we could pull it up real quick. If we like were able to pull up the amount of school shootings per year in America versus other countries, or murders in America versus other countries, and just violent crime in general versus other countries, yeah, it'll look really bad. And so you can't just say, oh, that's a coincidence. No,
Right.
there are elements there that are leading or lending to this. So I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't
I
have
mean,
the answer.
So then do you remove the conspiracy theories and just realize if we are like the rats, Americans are just spoiled. They have too much time on their hands. We have way too much food. Okay. We have way too much fucking entertainment where these kids don't even go outside anymore because they got one of these. Who needs to go outside when I got an iPad and a cell phone? Like, so it's like, is it conspiracy or is just that America is just fucked up?
I feel like it's both.
Fucked up country.
I feel like it's both.
A corporation, I'm sorry. A business.
Corporation. We're not a country. Yeah.
A corporation.
Yes.
And this is how a corrupt corporation is going to run. It's going to be self-interest. It's going to be what's going to line our pockets. You know what I mean? It's like, forget y'all. How can we get y'all to do the most for us for a little bit of money? But we see that all across business, even in entertainment. Even in entertainment, like people will be like, can you come give me 8 hours of your skill and talent and we got $50 for you? No, you got $50 for your mama, not for me.
Right. Every business is going to run like that. Every corporation is definitely going to run like that. Like that's the heart of corporation. How can I make the most profit off of the,
the least of it? Yes. I'm talking about some of these people, like I have these conversations and I'm like, you really would try to get me to work for free if you could.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Like they really try it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they really do try it. Yep.
I think with America too, it'd be really interesting one day for someone to look back at what in this time frame since Columbine, like you were saying, it's Columbine, then Paducah, Kentucky, and then they just, like you said, they just all start coming together one after the other to where now it's so many in a year, in a month.
A month, yeah.
But I think all of these things, what we're talking about, the access, to free time, internet. I'll also throw this in our culture, being that I really believe, and I don't know how we break out of this because I'm this way. I believe that the whole where we're not dependent on our family. And now you might be different, Jen. I mean, being Puerto Rican, I know how she, Erica is with her family. I mean, if she could have her family here, she would, all the time. But in America, we're
not me.
Exception to the rule.
Right.
So individualistic in this country, right? We're
Yes.
so we don't have to depend on our family because most people you can make it on your own. Where in other countries they always relied on their family. But I
And
think that
plus, my whole family's here. Like
yeah,
they're in America.
but I think what I'm saying is I think that distance that we're having from families could be playing something to it too, because you kind
No,
of
I've been thinking about that.
rely on yourself for everything, and that way, and then I'll talk to my mom a couple of times a week or something, but I don't. It's not like other people's when you see other people's families always getting together, having those big family get-togethers. A lot of people aren't like that anymore, and I just think it's a combination of things. I really think it's a
Yeah, it
combination.
is. It's like it's a perfect storm. Thank you so much for the super chat, Don Levon. Please hit that like button. Follow that man's instructions. Thank you. Feel free to support this show, Cash App on the Block with Jen, or hit me with a super chat with your comment. Yeah, no saying it is a combination of things. If you notice when we were younger, not for Lily, because I know Lily is still very close to her family, but I noticed traditionally since we were young, like we don't celebrate holidays like we used to, like Christmas, Thanksgiving, and all that. We were always together. It was a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Then people grow up, they have their own children, their own family. It's like, whatever. This one moved to New Jersey, that one moved to LA, this one moved to Vegas. Who cares? Right. And that's why I admire families that still love each other and come together and they're always there for each other. It's not my experience. So I made my own tribe. I made my own tribe of people that I love with a couple people from my family.
But no saying is right about that, because that's been my family's been close before I was born. Mm-hmm. And so, and then we have all these traditions, and then they just find reasons to get together. And we all live in different cities. That's the crazy part about it. But we get together, I don't even know how many times a year, right? Mm-hmm. And so that's been my normal. So I thought that was everybody's normal.
Right.
Oh no.
I really did, until because people would be like, "Dad, you and your family getting together again?" I'm like, "Yeah, what? What's the like?" I really didn't think, because we literally the entire family, we go on family vacations. We go on like at least two a year. So it's like I'm thinking that that's what it is, but then I started like looking around, and I'm like, "Oh, that isn't the normal now." So then that's why that's been on my mind a lot lately. But I really feel like two things. I feel like in order for any of this, I feel like right now the ball is it's going down the hill like the snowball. It's too much going on. It's a combination of things, right? So just trying to, and a lot of us, the way we work as humans, we'll try to just look at one thing and think that that's it. And then this group of people is looking at one thing and they're thinking that's it. We all could be right. So
I think it's a combination of a lot, especially money.
Yes.
Especially
at the top.
Money
and greed is at the top.
Like the difference in, like, you live in a country where it's 1%, right? And they're all billionaires. And in that same country, you can, take a half-hour drive and find Skid Row and everybody's in a tent living on the floor, right? It's just like in New York City, like, we would stand, true story, coming back from work, we always stand in front of the white people on the train. Why do we stand in front of the white people on the train? Because after 86th Street, the white people get off.
Right.
And you can sit where they're sitting, right? You can have a seat. Like after 86th Street, they get off. Now, there's gentrification. Now they're on a little longer, like to Prospect.
125th.
Right, to 125th. So it's like they're going higher and higher. But the pay gap and the financial, it's ridiculous. It's really, really horrible in this country. I feel
people are angry.
Horrible.
People are angry. People are hurting. And like you all said, there's so much excess that we're empty inside. We have all of this external excess that we are empty inside.
There is a combo of so much excess, and then people have no access. So it's excess and no access. And that's like tornado, volcano, the shit's going to explode. And you're starting to see like the crimes get worse and worse. And it's because people are frustrated, they're
Yes.
angry, they're depressed, or the world keeps telling them they're depressed. And then people are forcing themselves in lanes they don't belong in. Like, I'm fat, I'm disgusting, but I'm beautiful. And if you don't tell me I'm beautiful, I'm going to cancel you. Like, where it's like too much and then not enough. And they're living together in the same space and they were never supposed to live together. Not enough and too much. We're never supposed to be together. And a lot of people are, you know what I mean? It's like, ooh, this
I feel like there's
country.
going to be a reset. That's where I was going with this. There's going to have to be a reset. There's just going to have to be. That's the only way that things are going to, it's going to get worse. Let me be real clear about that. It's going to get much worse before it gets better. But that's just the revolving time loop of the world. Okay, so just understand. Don't think you're special. I mean, we're special because we're special because we're living through this transition period.
Right.
Right? We weren't there for Atlantis. We weren't there for the Ice Age. We weren't there for the different, cataclysms or whatever. But we're here for this one. So
You're I see a you're in the chat. Say mi gente hermosa, bonita. Rafael Abreu Canedo says, losing the meaning / value of human life. If we learn that human life is not sacred, then it's easier to dehumanize. Yeah, I mean, the way these great segue, because it's like the way these people are killing each other in hip hop is like nothing I've ever seen, right?
yeah.
There has to be some reckoning. There has to be some reckoning. We're going to talk about it. Okay? And we're going to try to get through this without saying, what about white people? We're going to try.
You have your bell near
Okay.
you just in case.
Okay. we're gonna do our best. We're gonna do our best tonight. Okay, we're gonna try. We're gonna try talking about this without bringing up who they be bringing up. Is it Ozzy Osbourne or one of the motherfuckers who bit the head off of some shit?
And Eminem used to make songs about Kim throwing her in their trunk and killing her.
Okay, we'll try to do without those two white guys. Right?
Okay.
We'll try to talk about the monthly murders in hip hop without talking about that guy that was high and bit the head off of some animal and Eminem. Okay, who is praised.
But in all defense of Ozzy, somebody threw the bat and he thought it was a rubber bat and he bit the bat and it was a real bat.
Oh God,
and
that's
it bit
a bad
him. He had to get rabies shots for that. He had to get rabies shots.
And that was back like I don't know if they still do it, but you had get 20-something shots, right, in your stomach.
Early 80s. When that
happened. Back then you had to get 20-something shots in your stomach.
I'm just gonna have to turn into a bat. Leave me alone.
Yeah.
No, Donovan, not that I know of, but let me not speak too soon.
I'm about to say the day's not over.
Right, the day is not over. So March 31st was the anniversary of Nipsey Hussle's assassination. Okay. And XXX murderers just got sentenced to life in prison. Now, I could be here all day talking about rappers that have been murdered, right? Just yesterday, Whack 100 and Mano got into a big shouting, screaming match, and they were threatening each other's lives on social media, right? And these guys are well up in their age where you think they'd be done with the rap beefs, right? But is it bad to say that the beef is very much, the 5 elements of hip hop? You got, what is it?
MC.
Help me out, chat.
God,
the 5 elements of hip hop. The 5 elements of hip hop. Help me out, chat.
You got the break dancers.
Yeah. So throw that in the chat for me and I'll read it. Whoever knows the 5 elements of hip hop. So I'm like, should we add 6? Beef.
Yeah.
Because rap beef, hip hop beef, right, is huge mainstream media. These murders are big mainstream media and they're very much part of the culture of hip hop and rap. They are part of the culture in hip hop and rap. What are they, Lily?
MCing, DJing, breakdancing, graffiti, beatboxing, and yes, let's go ahead and add beef.
Right. So it's like MCing, DJing, breaking, graffiti, and beatboxing. Yeah. Thank you, Tristan. So let's throw those up there. So, when we when we think about rap and hip hop, we think about the greats, and I mean, they've all the greats have all been murdered. When you think about it, right? The Tupac, the Biggie, the Nipsey Hussle, right? And then the younger cats of today. But these murders have been going on for a long, long time. You guys could throw in the chat if I missed somebody, because there's so many of these deaths. But who's responsible, right? Now, the first thing people are going to say is, well, them Jewish folk, they own the labels, they put the music out. That's the first thing they're going to say, right? Follow the money, follow the money. But these rappers are signing these $1 million contracts, which aren't really worth a damn after they buy their jewelry and their cars. But these rappers are knowingly and willingly writing these lyrics. The Jewish people, right? If you want to blame the Jewish people, because I know everything is the Jewish people's fault, right? If you want to blame them, they don't know the culture, right? They don't know. They're like, okay, you guys want to come here and talk about pimping and hoeing and your women are bitches and you want to kill each other and all of that shit. And I'll pump it out if it's
People
gonna
want to
make
buy
me
it.
some money, right? Like, and wait, and not only that, you guys want to put this out, and your people want to buy it, plus white people want to buy it. Oh fuck! Well, shit, sign right here. What are we waiting for? Here you go, right? So, who's at fault for the violence and death in hip hop? I use this guy for the thumbnail. Why? Because he is now, this is why I thought about this topic today, specifically because it's Tekashi 6ix9ine. Okay, there goes Tekashi. He got the shit beat out of him at a gym. Now, here's what's interesting about this case right now. Unfortunately, for the guys that beat him up, they did it on camera, quote unquote, for clout, and they put it on social media. Now, this word clout floats around, but them dudes they're from the Latin King gang. They've been fighting, shooting, stabbing, and killing each other for a very, very long time. The Latin Kings have, like every other gang, right? It's just gang lifestyle, every other gang. So when people say they did that for clout, I'm like, this is the life they live. That's the life they live, right? So if a gang member does a drive-by, is he doing it for clout, or that's just the life they live? That's their environment. Same with Nipsey Hussle. Was that guy looking for clout, or that's just the life they live? These kids kill each other on a regular. They kill each other, right? But something very interesting is happening with Tekashi 6ix9ine specifically, where after he got his ass beat, and if anybody knows Tekashi 6ix9ine's work, he's always talking about lots and lots of violence, including, killing and robbing and this, that, and the third, and he's yelling and, he claims the videos that I've seen, he's claiming to be part of the Blood Gang, right? And he has all the Blood Gang members behind him, very boisterous, loud, violent, screaming, screechy voice, tats from head to toe, rainbow hair, right? As degenerate as any human being can look and be and portray themselves, okay? Tekashi 6ix9ine, degenerate definition, his picture is probably next to it. So what's interesting now is after he got his ass beat, and the reason what motivated me to do this topic tonight is that now he's going on tour. He sounds like a victim of domestic violence. Now he's doing interviews, numerous interviews with different podcasters, even Latin news stations, to talk about what a horrible ordeal it was for him to get slapped around in that gym that day. And the math isn't mathing. I said, wait a minute. When you look at any Tekashi 6ix9ine music video or you listen to his lyrics, you're like, this can't possibly be the same guy. There's no way. So now he is on a media tour talking about how horrible it was for him and how traumatic, and they jumped him and that's unfair. But, you got to charge it to the streets because that's how the streets are. No, that's how you are. You partook, right? Then he went to prison and got out because he snitched on other people. Like, he's fully enveloped in this life. So I'm not understanding now. I am not understanding now why he's trying to pull away and detach himself from, like, oh, that was unfair. They jumped me. I'm surprised they didn't kill him, to be quite honest. I think he got off easy for, the threats he's made and the things he said where he's untouchable and can't nobody touch him and this, that, and the third. So I'm like, it's not mathing. So now that he got his ass beat, probably traumatized and scared, right? Now he wants to detach himself from hip hop and like, oh, I don't, I said, now he's singing love songs in Spanish with reggaeton artists. I don't understand. I don't get it. So again, I asked the question, whose fault is the violence and death in hip hop? So now this guy's, hey, I sing Spanish love songs now. The math isn't mathing. When you look at people that we loved, like Nipsey and Pac and Biggie, they were all rapping about that shit.
Right.
They were all rapping about that shit. Right. So we could bring up Ozzy Osbourne and Eminem talking about he didn't like his mama. But are they reaping what they've sown?
We talk about the mirror here on this show.
We do.
Some people may call it karma. Some people may call it self-fulfilling prophecy. I feel like it can be called all of those things, depending on what language you would like to use. Because I believe in energy as well, and I believe that what you put out is what you get back. Some way, somehow, may not look exactly the same, but that same thing that you put out, it comes back. It just does. I've seen it in my own life. When I act shitty, I get shitty back, and vice versa. So whose fault is it? Well, just like the last topic, we can't put it on one thing, but what I will start with, because I think a lot of people will want to start, like they go up to follow the money and stuff like that. Well, I'm going to follow the money as well. And I'm going to follow it to our hands, John Q. Consumer. Because we take our hard-earned money to purchase these albums, we as in me, to purchase these albums, and that's what keeps the Jewish executives signing this type of music, because it's selling, because we're buying. So this is like yesterday's topic. I feel like this is really saying a lot more, right? Because why do we want to hear that? Because let's think about it. Country music, they're not listening to music about just degrading their women and shooting and killing each other and white on white violence or anything like that, right? And all of the other genres, right? We don't see R&B singers getting knocked off every week. We don't see, we're not, so there's clearly a connection here, right? It's clearly a connection. Like I said, I believe in coincidence. So there's clearly a connection here. And so what's up with us as a community that we've always felt compelled to buy that? And I've heard you say it one time before, and I love this. We don't like degeneracy until it's over a good beat. I'll pass with that.
Oof. Before you go, No Saint, Simeon, I gotta disagree, man. And I know a lot of people share your sentiment. Beef is not hip hop. The problem is street niggas are now making music like Death Row, Suge Knight. When you think about a song like Ether, okay, that shit is old as fuck. All right, Ether, Nas, him beefing with Jay-Z is old as fuck. So you can't say it's these new niggas making this type of music, because beef and hip hop has been around since the beginning of hip hop. Some of our favorite records were tracks where they would, it was
the bridge is over. The bridge is over.
They were battling each other. So beef has always been a part of hip hop. Beef is always, it's not just today with drill rap and trap rap. Beef has always been a part of hip hop. Who was better? Bronx, Brooklyn, Queens? Come on. Manhattan keeps on making it. Come on, since the beginning of time. So we can't say it's that, and that's why I'm saying, how can we not say that beef isn't a part of hip hop? How can we not say that it's not an element?
It is. You're right. It's a part of the DNA. So then when you look at it, I'm connecting it, right? So when you look at it, that's like trying to delete racism from America. It's too ingrained in the DNA for it to go anywhere. It's not going anywhere because it's in the DNA.
That's what I'm saying, Lily. That is what I am saying. E Scrapple said, I'm not going to compare that to what happened to Nipsey. Nipsey was in a gang.
Yes.
He was killed by a gang member. He rapped about being in a gang. So it's all in there. Do you know? It's like a gumbo. And with that gumbo, I will pass it to No Saint.
Speaking of gumbo.
Speaking of gumbo.
I agree with Lily on much of what she was saying. I'll throw in that as far as the consumer goes, because I was thinking before Lily was saying that, I'm like, society in general, we consume violence in movies and everything. That's what we want to see. Mm-hmm. The movies I really like aren't really blockbusters, unless some of them do make blockbusters, but like the ones I kind of like are the ones that have a nice little storyline to it, not necessarily, and just like either maybe it's based on true, and sometimes the based on true stories are violent, because I like watching like the what was the name of the movie, the Enigma. I love that movie, The Enigma. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I love movies like that, but the blockbuster movies, John Wick, they're killing like
5,000 people.
Yeah, 100,000 people in the movie or whatever.
It's so funny. Oh my God.
People. Humans are we detect negativity before we detect positivity. It's just a survival instinct we have. That's why people have tribalism. And to Jen, to your point, we love tribalism. We love saying, I hate that guy. He's the West Coast rapper. I'm the East Coast. I love our New York rappers, and they get on a team, just like football or any sport. We get on a team, and you hate the other people for no reason, absolutely no reason.
Don't know nobody over there.
You hate him, and then all of a sudden, a year later, he's on your team, and he's the best thing. You love the guy. It makes no sense, right? But it makes sense if you break it down to just the way humans are in general. But yeah, so I think when it comes to hip hop and rap, I think negative is violence and negative. I mean, it's a marketing strategy. I really, and like you said, the people that are running it are not necessarily the people that actually lived in any kind of life like that. You know what I mean? Right. And maybe, who knows? Maybe, that's what people were always saying. It was like, well, the rappers that were having these, well, we're just rapping about what we're seeing in the streets. Some of it's true,
Yeah, but it's what the issue is the lack of balance. Because back in the day, we had that. We had people rapping about what was in the streets. Then we had the party, we had the funny. We had a lot of different things. And with that, I didn't have the issue because it was a balance, and all of it was reflective of Black life.
I agree, but what I remember is like first of all. And it happens with punk. I'm going to say, and I know I don't want to. It happens with punk rock groups too, where people are like, oh, they sold out. That's what I would see happen a lot in rap too. Like if they did a commercial, oh, they sold out. They're not real anymore. And then they would have negativity come towards them, or like you're saying, I don't know what. If they had a hit song that crossed over, and it wasn't about violence, then they were maybe corny, or anybody who's commercial suddenly is not authentic,
Right.
It's just an attitude towards that as well, which might have killed what you're talking about, Lele, where people were like,
no.
I want to read this comment that Tristan just put out. This is a quote from a Pete Rock verse. But when a nigga goes from not doing to doing, what can you tell him? Not to be a nigga? Shit, I gots to be a nigga. That's how I pay the bills.
Wow, that's a good quote for the day. Because being a nigga paying a lot of bills on social media, because that's what's being rewarded.
Clown country. I keep telling you, clown country. The clowns thrive here. That reminds me of when I spoke about it before, when Snoop Dogg was at Red Table Talk, and Jada was trying to hold him accountable with her entangled ass. And he said that he was telling Jada's mother that, oh, well, I tried to do that gospel album. Nobody would hear me talk about that. So I went right back and did a album about like bitches and shit. And then everybody bought it. And Jada's mother was like, Snoop, yeah. You know how she does. But even he admitted it. So again, I ask, whose fault is the violence and death in hip hop when these rappers knowingly, this isn't like they're not it's not like the quote unquote Jewish powers that be have them under a spell, like Ursula and the Little Mermaid, right? No, these motherfuckers are like, I want that bank, I want that money. I like buying these clothes, I like buying these fucking cars. What do I gotta say so y'all could keep giving me this fucking money? You want me to call black women bitches and hoes? Is that it? Shit, that's easy. Get my pen. So whose fault is it? Or I don't think that it's a melting. I don't think that
Wow.
this is a perfect storm. I think that the rappers are more responsible.
I was literally like, that's why I just was like, hold on, I just got an epiphany, right? And I'm gonna tell you why. Because what's helping me see it a little bit better is what's going on right now with this influx of, our, what is it, celebrity inflation that we got going on here. And what I'm seeing is what you're saying. It's the content creators, because number one, they want to, because fame is a hell of a drug. And when I learned, one thing I learned early on in my career, when I started dealing with, working in this industry, the first thing I learned was that fame and attention meant way more to most of these people than the money. Promise you, because there's so many people that are household names or got a name and don't have a dime in their pocket, but you know their name and they're okay.
And they got a blue check. And they got a blue check.
And they're okay with that. I'm telling you, I've seen it a million times, because you'd be like, damn, because I like my money. I'm just saying, right? So the thing is, but then it's also, so you go from the attention and everything like that, right? And they say, everyone misquotes it by saying money is the root of all evil, but it's the love of money, because money don't do nothing to you. It's just sitting there. It's just sitting there. Money doesn't have free will and power of choice, but we do. So I feel like it's greed for both money and fame combined, right? Then you have the monetization of it on top of that. So now everyone's fucked. So now we have even more of a bigger influx of degeneracy going on. Because first it was just the household names that we knew, like the Snoops and the Nipsey Hussles and stuff like that. Now it's just TikTok user 30975, right? It's everybody that's being monetized for degeneracy now. It's not just the household names anymore. So yes, and how I know it's the content creators is because we have a fucking choice of what we do. And you and I both know that we can blow up tomorrow morning if we did some of those things.
Easy.
But we have integrity. So yes, it's the content creators I give the biggest,
So the rappers.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for the super chat, Haran DeMarco. Haran says, there's an intense inferiority complex in the community. We don't value each other. How you do one thing is how you do everything. Yet I got a solution. Just run into the arms of white people.
Miss Daffy?
Haran is stuck on that point since yesterday. Hey, let me tell you something. Every man for himself. If a white person's gonna save you, vaya con Dios.
I don't care who it is. It could be a donkey, child.
Get on over there. I told you I'm making enough money to just go hug sad monkeys and build wells for children.
No,
that's where I'm going.
No, like I'm going falling off the grid. Y'all not gonna know what the fuck Lily went to.
No say. I saw a video of this little old monkey, okay, who's in a little box somewhere out in some country, and they had killed his mama, and they took him out the box, and he went running out, and he was hugging the lady so tight. And I said, I got an epiphany. I said, I'm gonna make enough money so I can go where they are, so I can hug sad monkeys and build wells for children who have to walk miles for water. That's going to be my purpose.
Yeah, mine is animals.
I can't save these people. They don't want to be saved. More importantly, they don't want to be saved. People have to chew that, swallow it. They don't want to be saved.
It is amazing. There was a guy who was doing videos, and he owned those little bitty monkeys. I can't remember what they're called. They had to wear diapers.
Yeah.
And like somebody came home from college or something that had been away around, and that monkey was going crazy, screaming, hugging, going around, just so excited to see this person that he hadn't or she hadn't seen in probably 6 months or something. It's so awesome though. You're like, Wow.
Find me that video, because animals are my thing. And when I envision, like, I've made it, I've got enough money, I got enough investments, okay, everything's in order, logging off, and I'm going with like, I just want a bunch of animals. I really do. I don't need the humans, because it's just too much. And animals are just so loving and caring, just simple, and you know what you're getting pretty much. So yeah. Find me that video too, because I really want to see that.
Okay, Angry Mormon must have been under a rock. He said, "Yo, did 6ix9ine take a beating? You months late. Like that's
Right.
just."
Did he have a question?
It wasn't months, but it was a long time ago.
Was it a question mark?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I said, if it was a period, he said, "Man, did 6ix9ine just take a beat?"
Yeah, question mark. He's asking. Tristan says, "It's our fault, to be honest. The behavior is enabled because we allow it." What's up, Georgia Porgia? George Cook says, "Jen, hello, panel. Jen, you are touching on my theory about cultural values. There has to be a deliberate effort to distance themselves from these things. And I think that's what's lacking, what's always going to lack, because the FOMO in our community is probably on steroids. The FOMO in our community, again, I spoke about this before. I'm seeing now 40-year-old and 50-year-old and even 60-year-old women who would have shunned someone like Cardi B or like Meg Thee Stallion or Ice Spice and been like, those girls should be doing something better with their lives. They're so precious. Now these 40, 50, and 60-year-olds are on TikTok like, yeah, I want to dance like Cardi B, right? So it's like that's why I said social media is ageless. Like there are all ages out on there, from babies to toddlers to women that are 50, 60, 70 years old. These women are supposed to be matriarchs, right? And it's like we're supposed to be the generation that says you're doing too much, because the generation before us told us you're doing too much. So now there's no one to tell anybody you're doing too much, because you'll be a hater. You just want clout. You're irrelevant. Okay, this ain't none of your business. Now it's like it's a runaway train. It is off the fucking rails, and it's every man for themselves. We no longer have those adults, and that's a scary fucking thing, because as annoyed as we were by our elders and our parents, when we got older, did we not hear those voices? And we were happy to have heard those voices. Like, oh my God, my dad told me what this was. My mom told me what this was. But now the elders are on TikTok dancing to Ice Spice and rubbing their pussies and twerking, and you know what I mean? So it's like the lines are blurred bad.
And I'm glad we did an episode highlighting that, because that is really my concern. Because I'm looking, whenever I do get on social media, I'm always thinking like, okay, these are the adults acting like this. Who are the kids looking? This is who the kids are looking at. So, and then their minds are not as developed as the so-called adults. So how are they making sense of this? How are they perceiving this? Like, what is this doing to them? Because that's what I'm always thinking about. Because I look at the adults, you all are fucked up anyway, and it's no hope, right? So I'm always looking at the kids, and I'm just like, between the adults in America and China, we got a whole generation of youth that's destroyed. Like, it's crazy.
Stick a fork.
Let me tell you this. I meant to tell this on the show the other day. So I had a dinner the other night. I told you all in a private chat. So I sat next to a therapist. I was sat next to a therapist. They did a seating chart or whatever. They was like, okay, Lily, it'd be good in between these two people. Okay, cool. They were great though. They were fun. So the therapist was on one side. So I was like, free therapy session, hey. And so she told me that what she's seeing now is an influx of children and teens that are coming in wanting to be put on medicine because they're having nervous breakdowns behind the thought of TikTok being banned. And she says it's been an influx of it.
Oh my goodness.
She's just sitting there like, what do I do with this? Like, I don't even know what to do with this.
And it's interesting because, you know, that's a whole other layer where therapy, like they're encouraged to push drugs on people. It's like, here, take 2 of these and call me in the morning. Like they're encouraged to push drugs. So it's like this corporation, I can't even say country, this corporation, it's our fault.
It is. We have dropped the ball.
Well, listen, I think the government, and when I say the government, the people, like, I know it's on both sides, Democrats, Republicans are against TikTok, and I know for good reason they're against TikTok. And yes, it's going to cost people a lot of money that are making a lot of money on there. But you got to do the right thing, because, you know, if it was opioids that were legally being sold everywhere, and somebody was making $1 million off of opioids, I'm talking about regular people now.
Oh, I'm gonna say, because I'm like, that did happen. But okay,
Talking about regular people.
Yeah. Okay.
You gotta stop it. Just because somebody's making a lot of money off it, if it's having a negative effect on a population, and in this case, you know, the government's looking out for. They're looking out for themselves, right?
Right. Yeah. This
Always,
government
in
don't
every
give a
case.
fuck. They don't give a fuck
Yeah,
about
But
the
what I'm
citizens in
saying
this
is,
country.
even that, I think two things can be true. If they ban it, I think it's good for the people, but it's
Mhm.
also keeping information outside of China, because it is a pure propaganda and information gathering for the government of China. It's not a private company. It's not a private company.
Yeah, but
Nothing
but I also said this country, they cut off their nose to spite their face, right? They're the type of people that it's like, oh, you mean they're it's so dumb. It's like, oh, you mean using oil will destroy the oceans and the forest but I'll get money? Let's keep throwing that oil in there.
And
That's how this country, and I'm like, you guys don't see what you're doing?
And that goes back to the topic, Jen. That's what's happening. That's part of the fabric of this country as well. Like, we don't care about the consequences. We just want to make money. We don't care how we're going to leave our children and our grandchildren. I just want to feel good right now.
Well, I mean, you're right in that sense that humans are not. We see immediate danger. We don't. Further out it is, the more you don't really worry about it too much. But that's not just the United States as far as oil goes. I mean, we're talking about all these industrialized countries. India and China are huge polluters right now because their economies are building, right? And they don't give a damn. They don't care that they have to seed the clouds during the Olympics to clear everything so people aren't choking on the air out there. You know what I mean? I think humans in general, we look at what's going on now, even though we've been warned. That now, where I think you're right is the people that are really greedy, like saying, well, the really rich people making the billions of dollars off of it, they're thinking for right now. But then even if it hits tomorrow, they're thinking they're going to be able to escape it. They'll take their money and they'll be able to go somewhere where people,
They already have. They started emptying their bank accounts 2 years ago before COVID.
Well, I'm not talking about money. I'm talking about, like, if they had to pull up, like if all the billionaires in New York had to pull up and move somewhere in Antarctica, because now Antarctica's 70 degrees.
Well, hold on.
They think they're going to survive.
Hold on. You didn't see what happened in New York at the beginning of COVID?
Yeah, they started. Yeah.
They were gone. It was so when everyone was calling me like, "Are you okay up there? I saw the news." So Manhattan, right? It's pretty much built of wealthy people, right? Tourists and junkies, right? A little sprinkled in for good measure, right? The tourists, of course, couldn't come because the city was shut down. The wealthy people fled, so we were just there with a few junkies spread around here and there during COVID. It literally looked like that. They were gone.
Yes,
they're gonna get up and escape immediately. So
Well, and they had the real quick. They had the bunkers, really nice bunkers. I'm talking about, you wouldn't even know. It's not like what you would think of a bunker, like
Oh no,
luxury bunkers where they have, like, I don't know, a couple of years worth of supply of food in there. They have people serving you. They have these things.
It reminds me of it. Just reminds me. I mean, and again, a virus. Human beings have been like this since the beginning of time. You look at something. This reminds me of, like, the Titanic, right? We're all gonna die in this bitch. I have this money. We're going to drown. I have this money. Freeze to death is what's going to happen. I got this money, so you better treat me like I got money. The boat is sinking.
That's true, man. That is True.
That's what's happening here. So
Yes.
it's like the more damage you make to the planet, you're not going to have anywhere to
No.
flee. You can't
No.
stay in your bunker forever.
Ever.
You're doing this. Y'all are doing this to the country. Y'all are doing this to the planet. But I got a 3-story condo in the Trump Tower. We're all going to die, bitch.
Right. And it is not just them, like No Saint said. It's just the humans that can't see the tree through the forest, because it's us too that's like, yeah, I don't care if this is going to whatever, but I need my whatever we need. We always need something, right? So it's all of us. It's a mess. It's just a mess. And yeah, we're on the Titanic.
Raphael said the violence was there before rap and before media, but I do get that violence is being used in media in various ways, which probably do play a role in any increase in violence. Yeah, violence was always around since human beings were around. But however, and no person in the chat, okay, or watching us right now can correct what I'm about to say. There is no violence like the violence in rap. There is not one genre of music on the planet where the artists are killed monthly. There is not one genre. I don't care what you heard a country guy say about his wife or putting her in a box. I don't care what Ozzy Osbourne did to the bat on stage. Okay. I don't care what you hear in techno or in trance music or EDM music. I don't care what you hear in gospel or in R&B, or there is not one genre on the planet where its artists are killed every single month, where its icons are killed like dogs in the street. There is not one genre on the planet except for hip hop. Not a one.
No lies detected.
Not one.
That
Yes.
is saying a lot.
Yes, sad monkeys need love. Absolutely.
So
Don, shut up. Shut
I
up, Don.
have a question though, Saint, because I
Is that a
haven't been
goat?
keeping up on that. What is taking them so long, or what is the battle that they're arguing between why they haven't deleted TikTok? Is it because they feel like a lot of people are going to lose incomes? Is that part of the
I mean,
argument?
one of the I laugh at what you said about the kids having trouble mentally. That's just, they're gonna have to suck it up. But there are people that are making a lot of money, right? And they're the ones that are like, no, you can't do it. It's gonna, I'm making, many people making a lot of money. That's one. The other thing is, well, this should be freedom of speech. That's the argument. The company, they sent in the American division of TikTok, some guy, out of China, saying that, it's all coming out, it's all protected under this firewall. But yet China makes these businesses sign an agreement saying they'll give everything to China, and they're not allowed to say they're giving everything to China.
Right.
I have a question, No Saint.
Okay.
I want to, this comment Tristan says, all I wanted was to get my degree and be an engineer in peace. And now I have to dodge Instagram bullets, black on black crime, gangs, shit. I'm just trying to live, man. I feel your
I feel like
pain,
that's how we
Tristan.
all feel. Yeah.
I feel your pain, Tristan. I have a question
Okay.
for No Saint. Don Levon said the people that are supposed to tell us that we're doing too much are doing too much. Yeah.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah. It's like you see these kids, like they knock on their mom's door and be like, hey, mom, wait, I'm on TikTok. I got to finish.
Yeah.
It's like, mom, never mind.
My homework.
Thank you so much for the super chat. Elvis the Chef Rosenberg, how are you, sir?
Big Elvis.
Big Elvis.
Love Big Elvis.
Always such colorful dialogue. Haran DeMarco says, if they get rid of TikTok, it's a solid opportunity for a dev team to make the next hot app these kids can flock to. The idea of TikTok is bigger than the application. Well, thank you, because that was my question. My question is, No Saint. And here we have Georgie Poggi for the last half hour. How are you, darling?
Hey, how are you?
Really, really good. Good to see you.
Yeah, hey, just I think.
Hey, man.
Yeah.
So here's
Go
go ahead.
ahead.
Yeah. So here's my question, No Saint. My question was, there's a lot of emphasis on TikTok, and TikTok should be banned, right? I'm like, TikTok is a pimple on the ass of a teenage kid who's suffering from a lot of acne. Okay. It's a pimple on the ass. Instagram is toxic. Facebook
Yeah.
is toxic. YouTube is 10 times as toxic. So is the beef with TikTok that's where China gets its information on Americans? Is that the only beef with TikTok?
Well,
because all this shit is toxic.
Well, I get what you're saying. I think the thing that bothers me more about TikTok is it's not just, it is China getting the information, but it's also, and you probably know this, is what they're feeding to our population versus what they're feeding to their kids and their population. It's different. In other words, TikTok, you can't get TikTok in China. They have their own version.
Mm-hmm.
They're not allowed to. Now, people will get VPNs in China, which is against the law, and be able to see the TikTok that we're getting, but it's different. And it's totally, well, some of it's propaganda for the Chinese Communist Party. Some of it's subtle, some of it not so subtle, and then just junk. Just like you're saying, all the stuff that you're saying that's on this, but it's deliberately, and it's addictive, and they know, and it's addictive. All these things are addictive, but they're so that's the problem I have with TikTok. Now, I don't mind you saying these other things are bad too. I agree.
Instagram is horrible. YouTube is horrible.
But I'll tell you what, as far as we know, right?
Mm-hmm.
I know Lily will say, I don't know about that. As far as we know, you can get things that are negative, say negative things against the country here, and you get things that say positive. You can get everything. They don't suppress everything.
Okay, this is something that boils my blood. But okay,
I gotta watch myself fair and Lily. Where, but it's a lot. China makes our phones, so I bet they have more information. Well, they put together the phones, the chips that we need to run weaponry, to run the smartphones. I think they're made in Taiwan, and that's why Taiwan's such a big piece right now, and that's why we'll go to war and we'll blow up that chip factory before we let China get access to it. And all the technology comes from here. They make the chips in Taiwan. China puts it all together. But anyway, that's a side. That's something different. But yeah, I know what you're saying. You're right. We get a lot of junk from a lot of different places, but it's just something about another country that's trying to erode us.
So let me put my horns on. Let me put my horns on real quick, Lily. Let me put my horns on and be devil's advocate, because again, right? It's just like the crack game, right? So it sounds to me like people are upset yet again, like the same way I look at hip hop and rap, right? Jewish people, if they're the ones, again, I'm just saying this because that's the people that say they run hip hop, right? The Jewish people run hip hop, but the rappers have a choice. Tekashi 6ix9ine had a choice, right? Nipsey had a choice. Tupac had a choice, especially Tupac, because he was a ballerina. He was a fucking model. He didn't have to be a thug. He didn't have to get thug life tattooed. He didn't have to go death row, right? He didn't have to, okay? Biggie, all of them, and all the ones in between that have been murdered, right? Living this lifestyle. Can you blame Jewish people for the choices that they made? So let's go back to TikTok. So the China's like, you guys are stupid and we're going to profit off of it and we're going to do whatever the fuck we want with you because your government is stupid. So that's what we're going to do. So how can we blame China? Because America's stupid and easy to fuck in the ass. So I don't look at China like, look at China trying to poison us. No, I look at us like, look at these motherfuckers not giving a fuck about their own citizens. Look at these motherfuckers being so greedy that they don't care about the children in their society. That's what I'm looking at. I'm not looking at China because everybody alive is an opportunist. All of us. You give us the opportunity to do better in life, we're going to take that shit. Very rarely is someone going to suffer for love like Job. Oh, I'll take anything you give me. The majority of people are like, you can get me from here to there and I'm better over there. I'm going over there. I'm going with you. So when people are mad at China, I'm like, being mad at China for what?
Well, I'm not mad at China, but I think it should be banned.
In general. I'm saying in general.
It should be banned. That's what I'm saying. You're right. If we could do it, I mean, I'm sure we do a lot of things China's a little bit tougher because they're an authoritarian government, so they can shut down a lot of stuff. Here, it's a little bit different. It's more open, but I don't blame them. I'm just saying what you're saying. We need to stop it, and that means banning TikTok. That's why I said we should ban TikTok.
I mean, no, I'm for the ban. Honestly, I'm for the ban of on
China
all
says,
social media. To be honest,
says,
I'm from the ban.
guy. We get on TikTok again.
The Georges.
Did he just go racist?
Wait a minute.
He did.
The thoughts and comments on the Block with Jen are not necessarily the thoughts of everybody just paused. Like, did he really just do that?
Yeah.
It's like,
You remember the movie Wayne's World?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did a kind of an impression of that in a Chinese restaurant with a friend of mine, and I said, "He'll have come on, some young guy," something like that. I got looked at me like, "What the fuck?"
Hopefully, they already served you your food before you did that.
Right. That is hilarious.
He was sitting across from me. He was an old codger, and he's sitting there looking at me like, "You motherfucker." And his granddaughter's like sitting there with this shit-eating grin on her face, like, "Yeah, I like that."
Yo, welcome, George. Welcome, George, to On the Block with Jen. Thank you for pulling up, sir. So I gotta say, going back to this TikTok thing, I would be great with the ban on all social media. That would be beautiful, but that's not gonna happen. So going back to what you said, No Saint, where it's like this country, right? Should ban it, right? And I agree with you, but I'm like, this is the same country that feeds us poison. This is the same country that wants to give us cancer. This is the same country that, you know what I mean?
Look,
it's
we all
pulling
and everything else.
Yeah, I mean, this is America. We're in America.
We all know that tribalism, races, in this case, another race, but another country, you can poison yourself. But if they poison you, you got to
right.
Yeah,
right. Because America's like that with drugs. They're like, but like, get the drugs from us, not from Pookie.
Yes.
Like, no. We're gonna lock Pookie up.
So they've locked people up for 3 strikes you're out for selling marijuana, and now marijuana is being legalized in states, and not one black person owns a dispensary. It's all white people. What the hell is going on here, man?
Yeah, when they legalized pot, man, I was surprised. All the people that came out of the woodwork. Yeah, I like to have a joint every now and then. Yeah,
it's true.
Yep.
Yeah,
and then I got like 3 dispensaries on my block, like on one, and just my block alone. They're everywhere here now, and this city smells like fucking weed.
Oh
everywhere.
yeah, same.
Oh my God, you should see Vegas. You should see them. They're more than McDonald's out here. Like there's one on every corner.
No, it's a lot here.
Let me ask this of the entire panel. Then why do you think if China is scheming on us and TikTok is so bad for us and they're feeding our children propaganda, anti-American propaganda as well, why? What interest does the U.S. have to not ban it?
That's the question. That was what I'm trying to get to, Jen. That's the question. That's why I was, because I haven't been followed, so that's why I was asking that question.
Well, it's crazy because this is one where both Democrats and Republicans are on the same side. They both are putting pressure to ban it. But you better believe that there's some people on the tape that I'm sure China in some way or another is pumping in money to try to stop it.
They have very powerful lobbyists, No Saint, that are doing lobbying lawmakers and all that. But like you said, man, it's this the old saying, follow the money. If you think way back in our time, and I'm going to back up just a little bit to something you said earlier, Jen, you kind of just made a passing comment about the prior generation thinking, we weren't doing enough and all that. Those motherfuckers should keep their mouth shut. They fucked us over. The Gen X, not Gen X, but the baby boom crowd, they, in between the greatest generation and us, was that generation. They gave us, if you think about all the moral degeneracy, it started with those motherfuckers. And now they want to point their finger at us. Like, you're the one who fucking went through the roof with divorce. You're the one who, put abortion on the map. You're the one who
got rid of the gold standard.
Yep. Yeah, so don't talk to me about, what we ain't doing, But anyway, getting off course here. But one thing that the Chinese have done, they talk about their policy is to weaken us from within, and then we just implode. And so it's kind of like they don't have to come nuke you. If they can get you to,
That's where I was about to go with this.
if they can get you to fight amongst yourselves, if they can get you all strung out on drugs, which they're the ones who are bringing in the fentanyl, yeah. And it's
So
more,
my client asked me yesterday, they was like, because everybody knows I like to keep my pulse to, I don't never watch the news. I always care about what's happening 10 years from now, right? By the time people are talking about it, I'm like, I was thinking about that 5 years ago. So my client asked me yesterday, do you think we're going to go to war? I said, baby, we're already at war. See, when you all think of war, you think of boots on the ground. That's so old, late tide delayed and through, right? The war is just what George just said. It's a technological war at
Yes.
this point. Okay. And so that's why I keep bringing it back to, they have destroyed a generation of children. But then, going back to what Jen said, what's the incentive? Who's getting their palms greased? Because if we got both, because I don't believe in Republican Democrat. That's all bullshit and control opposition. They just pretend they don't like each other and they just split the money up in the back. Okay. But when you got both parties pretending to be against something, but it's still not banned, that's clearly saying fuck you in our face.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just, and so yes, we can't really blame China because they just doing what the fuck they supposed to be doing when they're at war. There's all this fair and love in war. So it keeps going, but that's why when I think about our government, it's just like they're literally out to kill us. It is the craziest thing ever. It's like, and people keep looking for them to be their saviors and their protectors, and I'm like, no, they're literally like the person next to you is not your enemy. It's not them.
Mm-hmm.
They don't even have enough money to be your enemy. They don't even have the power to be your enemy.
Hello.
It's those, higher ups that are pulling the strings and pretending to be at odds with each other. That's who your real enemy is. But we are so imploding at this point, we can't see that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Don hit the nail on the head.
China is playing the long game. We're going to wake up one day with a Chinese flag flying over the White House.
I'll disagree with that. China doesn't have a lot of time on the top. I've talked about it before. China has a lot of problems, and you just don't know about them because they don't let them get out. But China has a lot of issues. Now,
so how do you feel about the dollar being knocked down?
That's what I was going to talk about. My Erica was asking me about that because she got all nervous, right? So there's this thing, just to explain to the audience, there's this thing called BRICS, right? It's a currency. It's Brazil, India. What's the R stand for?
Brazil, India, Russia,
Brazil,
and
Russia,
China.
India, China,
India, and China.
South America. And I believe what you're seeing online and what you're seeing, I truly believe it's Russian propaganda. And I'll tell you why. The United States, China was supposedly going to pass the United States. And this is by all prognosis, by 2025, they were supposed to have the largest economy in the world. And now they don't even know if they're going to pass and have the largest economy in the world. China is legit. Their currency, but just like the United States, they print a lot of money. The difference between the Chinese yuan and the United States, our economy it's more transparent where China's isn't. So people will believe, they'll run to the dollar because you can see what's going on, right? It's more open. So China's the second largest economy. Russia is tiny. Their economy is tiny. South Africa, I think ours is 55 times the size of South Africa. Brazil is on a downside. They're not even near what our economy is. And India has promised, but they're not there yet. So the whole thing is they're supposed to make this currency and not use, between themselves or whatever. We're gonna make a currency so we don't have to use the dollar. But it's just not that easy. It really isn't. It's not gonna because those economies are so tiny and the United States still has the largest economy in the world.
But
you're still gonna have to use the dollar. You're still gonna have to use the dollar. So I think that some of this you'll see. I'll even see on my feed line, like I'll see one would be from China saying this is because the United States used the dollar and against certain countries, and I said, okay, that's out of a Chinese national news station. Then I'll see another one. Okay, that's out of a Russian one. They're pushing a lot of this stuff to try to frighten people. away from the dollar. But the same thing happened with the euro. The euro, it's not necessarily, even though you have another reserve currency, it doesn't mean the dollar goes away. So I don't buy it.
Oh, no, Saint, if you ever get a chance, read the book by this guy, and I forgot his name, but the title is Economic Hitman. And
Oh yeah.
yeah, this guy really talks about with an investment banker going into some country and basically saying, hey, plata or pluma, basically something like that to them. And so he would sit there and they would manipulate economies and stuff like that on behalf of our government. On behalf of our government. That's all.
No, I buy that. I have no doubt the United States uses the dollar to bully people around.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is this whole thing of people running away, like suddenly, these 5 countries with small economy, with most of them don't even have a large economy. It's just not, just because they come up with a currency doesn't mean it's going to be worth more than a dollar, or that you're not going to get away from the dollar. It's just, it's not.
I think the issue that people have is like they're banding together like Voltron. That's number one. And number two, we don't produce anything anymore. We outsource everything. We're even starting to outsource our own personal assistants, like just regular Joe Schmo,
But that's changing even now. Ever since the pandemic, we've started taking like the CHIPS Act. We're bringing manufacturing of those chips that they're making in Taiwan, because we now know that, if China does do anything, we're not going to have those chips that run everything.
Hey, look, Trump did something really good then, didn't he?
What's that?
Bringing manufacturing back to the U.S.
Yeah, and the CHIPS Act is from Biden. I'm not even going to get into that, because some of the stuff that Trump did, I agree with. Yeah. I just think he's
as a person, he's a shithead.
Let's not go into it. I think he's done a lot more harm too, though. Yeah. But anyway, that's a sidebar. But no, we still. But like I'm telling you, like I'm saying to you, Lily, we have the world's largest economy with all that stuff you're saying, and now stuff's starting to come back. And I'm reading things now that are saying that that's kind of where it's going. It's kind of going from deglobalization, because the pandemic showed you that these lines to get you things can be cut off really fast, and all of a sudden you're running and trying to get a bunch of toilet paper.
I had to discontinue my skincare line, right? And I wasn't doing no private label situation where I contact the distributor in China and say, hey, can you slap my logo on your lotion? Like, my shit was made here in-house, like it, with love, all that good stuff. The only one thing it was formulated, manufactured, distributed by my company here in-house. In Maryland, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And so when the pandemic hit, the one and only thing we depended on anyone for was the containers. And after we ran out of containers, we just could not get in anymore. So we had to stop taking orders. So just that's something that small that people don't think about. They don't think about containers for their ketchup packets or whatever. Like, it's little things like that. And so my question is, how long would that take to start bringing it back to the States, to the point where we're not so much in danger if we're cut off from, say, China? That's going to take some time.
Look at that.
Really, that's something that I kind of keep up with that stuff, and what you're talking about is very real. If you think about it, in our time, no Saint Jen, we saw a lot of jobs leave America, first go down to Mexico, and then of course it went over to China. And
was it at NAFTA?
Yeah, NAFTA.
Yeah, but
And then sorry, you're not on the limited plan, ma'am. What is your name? My name is Sarah, ma'am. Your name is what? My name is Sarah, ma'am. I was on the unlimited plan, Sarah. No, ma'am, you are not on the limited plan. Hold on, I get my supervisor. Get me a fucking supervisor, god. I'm sorry, ma'am. I said what? You're not on a limited plan. I will get my please hold, please.
And then repeat it over and over like a robot. I'm like, okay, maybe we are better off with the AI.
I just want to know why you fucking charged me $20 extra this month. That's what the fuck I want to know, Sarah. Right. That's what I want to know. All right. Yeah. You're not on the limited plan.
Yeah, but the manufacturing base in this country is eroded. I say this, Not everybody's intended to go to college or should go to college.
Agree.
I mean, I'm not saying, oh, agree. I think we need to bring back, and this is one of the things that we did. You could social thing or what, but it's policies like training, workforce training, trade, like plumbers,
You breaking
electricians.
up, George. You underwater. You underwater, George. You breaking up.
China's sick of you talking
China
about this.
got you. China got
Take
you.
TikTok off your phone and come back. It'll be all right.
China say, call us motherfuckers. We got something for you. Call me a motherfucker.
Yeah, I guess I'll say this. I agree a lot with what No Saint's saying. He's dead on about it, So, yeah, we need to, Jen, how long it's going to take. It's going to probably take, I'm going to guess 30 years to get it back.
I was just about to say, because it took about 20.
Problem is our wages are so high.
That's the other thing, because it costs a lot to bring everything back here.
Well, I'm going to tell you something else. They're already, China's already suffering the same thing the United States did. There are companies moving to Vietnam and other places that have lower wage people.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. It's cheaper to make in Vietnam and other places. But, I think what Lily and George, what we're talking about is that I think as bad as the COVID was, I think it showed countries and people, whoa, we might need to rethink this, because if something gets cut off, suddenly we can't do a lot of the things that we normally can do. And it could be worse,
But you know what's crazy? That goes back to what we was talking about earlier. Motherfuckers was trying to warn them when they started this shit.
Yeah.
But people want what they want in that moment. They don't care about 10 years and 20 years from now and what consequences my children or my grandchildren are going to pay. I remember, that's why I was like, was this NAFTA? Because I remember these arguments. They was like, hey, hold on now. Might want to think about this. It's a very slippery slope. Sounds very appealing today. But
I have a question on the topic before we close, and then I want to end with a question, and I'm curious about as far as whose fault is the violence and death in hip hop. I say it's the rappers. It's the rappers. It's the rappers. I don't blame the label owners. I don't blame the Jewish folks. I don't blame the media. I don't blame the radio. I blame the rappers. They are signing up. They are signing up to do this. They are saying these words. They are talking about their own people this way. They are killing their own people this way. So when I look at Tekashi 6ix9ine on his little, I'm a victim of domestic violence tour, I say, fuck off, Tekashi 6ix9ine, because you partook and you made a lot of money partaking, wearing the blood gang bandana and running up and down the streets and talking about crime and killing of our own people. So fuck off. So I will say it is the rappers' fault. Now, of course, people can be like, well, it's the media, it's the Jewish people, it's the fucking rappers. Had it not been for the rappers, they would not have a business. They would not have a business, right? So, but I do want to end this question. I'm very curious about, because it's something I think about a lot. Is there anybody in the chat or on the panel or lurking or whatever? Do you imagine yourself living an entire lifespan here? And it's not long. We go to 80, 90 if we're lucky, right? Do you imagine living an entire lifespan in this country and dying in this country, and this country is it for you? Or are you thinking about living elsewhere outside of this country? Because I think about that a lot. Like, yeah, get your passports. Like, I think about that a lot. Like, is this country going to be it for us, the way this country is? Like, we're going to live our whole lifespan here and die here and be buried here? What say you, chat and panel? I'm just curious, because something I think about.
No, that's what I've been thinking about a lot lately. I've actually I'm narrowing down my countries now. And making my goals list, because I deal with evidence, and I like to deal with what is and not what I want it to be. And then once I know what is, then I'm like, okay, what's possible from there? What this looks like? Okay, what I'm looking for is not possible here in America based off of what I'm seeing. It's just not. So yeah, I've just been narrowing it down. And how and what that looks like for me. And that's what I'm really working towards. Whenever I'm talking about retirement, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. For me, Jen, I've thought about Uruguay. And the reason is
Uruguay.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Is that they're very stable. Their economy is in the midst of all of like Brazil, Argentina with their hyperinflation. Uruguay is very stable. Their government is similar to ours. The culture is similar. Uh, if you're a vegan, don't want to go to Uruguay or Argentina. They love meat, real meat.
In Brazil.
Like really good for me.
I
I
love
love
Yeah, Brazil
I,
too.
I love meat.
yeah. So
I gotta
it's
go to Brazil.
reasonably priced to here, and it's the whole thing about like what happens with New Yorkers when they come to Florida. They were living in in brownstones and all that kind of stuff. And then they come down here and they're like, shit, I can get waterfront property, with the same money, and
Mhm.
it's that kind of thing. But I thought about Uruguay. I thought about Spain. Um, Over there in Spain and stuff like that. Because the one thing I think about is healthcare, and I'm
Mhm.
like it or
Mhm.
not, we've got a pretty damn good system. It's expensive, and yeah, there's all kinds of bullshit in it, but compared to the other places, it's pretty damn good. So I was like, okay, well, I can always fly back to the Mayo Clinic here in town where I'm at. There's a Mayo Clinic here, and
Mhm.
and stuff like that. So I've really thought about that. And no saying, I was just kind of curious about you
Yeah.
you call what would your wife think about going to Colombia
I mean,
or something
listen,
like that?
I've discussed it. That is an option. I've also Costa Rica is now the problem is people find out about advertise these things and then things get more expensive, right? So you
All
kind
right.
of get it there. But Costa Rica has an excellent healthcare system. The
See,
people are
that's why
really
I ain't named none of my shit.
what's that?
You see, that's why I ain't named none of my places. I
Oh
don't
yeah,
want
you're
none of them
smart.
motherfuckers
You're
coming.
smart. Very smart. Very smart. They have you can everything's evident. You can live really well on a nice retirement. That you have if you have enough
Right.
income. And there's some places that, like any other place that's going to be more expensive, and there's a section in Costa Rica that's in the higher in the elevation that reminds me it's like 70 degrees all year,
Oh, I love that.
low humidity,
Mm.
low humidity because
Oh,
Oh
I hate
man,
humidity.
come on, talk to
I
me.
I either
I want
that's
to hear
why
that.
that's on my list, but I've
Yeah.
even because places like I looked into Utah, and all the Californians are moving west or east, so everything's going up in price. All the places that I thought, because I love the western part of the United States.
Right.
I don't think there's many places that have as much beauty
So
as the
beautiful.
western side of the United States.
Me
And
too.
the
Yep.
weather, you can I know where Jen's at. It gets really hot in the summer, but in Utah, just a little ways over, you can go to places and it's temperate.
Mhm.
So. But as far as overseas, I've thought about it, and I still don't know. The one thing I hold back, I think, okay, I'm going to retire pretty soon. It's not too far away. And then I think I want to do this. But I also read, you have this idea, and then people will go there. And if you don't, like Jen likes to say, make a tribe there, and there
Mhm.
are a lot of expats there too, you might not want to be around Americans, right? When I go overseas, I don't necessarily want to be around other Americans, but
Right.
Right. Mhm.
you got to find a tribe because people will go there, and a lot of people want to pick the beach. And then all of a sudden, the next thing you know, they're bored because you go, okay, there's the beach, there's drinking, and then they don't have
Mhm.
family or they don't have their friends. So, I mean, I think about that sometimes. Like,
Yeah.
well, I know a lot of people in this area because I grew up here. So, what happens if my kids are out or whatever, and then it's like you don't have a group. You got to make friends. You got to start all over. So, I don't know, but yeah, Costa Rica is kind of on my radar.
Yeah.
I
That's
mean, you have to. I mean, it's you have to be brave about it. You got to
well,
be brave if you're going to do that. But I will say, a lot of people don't leave because they're like, "Well, all my family's here in
yeah,
America, so I
yeah.
can't leave, and then I can't see this person and that person." But
Only
I'm a very singular person, so I have the luxury of I can leave
only
and
a plane
FaceTime
ride
my
away.
sister.
A plane
Huh?
ride away. I don't have that
Yeah.
problem because I've lived all over the place and it's only a plane ride away.
Yeah.
But
Or a
for
Zoom call.
like it, you got to make me. But another thing I'll say about Costa Rica is most people there. It's the most educated country in Latin America. They don't have a standing army, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
And most people do speak English there. So
How's the legal system? No, Saint, in terms of like buying property and stuff over there. Like in certain countries, it can get a little dicey.
Oh, no. In Costa Rica, you are allowed, I think after 2 years, you can get your citizenship. You're allowed to buy land. He's right. Some places they won't allow you to.
That's the other thing. Yeah, I've been looking into that.
Yeah, because I thought about buying a ranch. Like, I'm serious. Like my family are farmers, and
No, I was laughing at Don's comment. I'm all for the farms and ranches. Trust me.
Yeah.
Yep.
And the thing that we didn't touch on, there was a movie, a documentary several years ago dealing with our food supply. And we are so freaking vulnerable. The amount of food that we import, the reason you can have out of season vegetables in like wintertime is because they're bringing it in from like Costa Rica or some other places where it's where they can be grown. So, and that's cool and everything, but you get to, it's kind of like the manufacturing, you get too much of that outsourced. Right. And man, they've got
when I started seeing cherries in the winter, I knew something was wrong. Peaches and cherries and shit in the winter.
Like, what is this?
But what you're talking about is things that are out of season here. And they don't grow certain things here. Like, a lot of our avocados come out of Mexico. Right. A lot of bananas come out of Colombia, but that's because they can grow those all the time. But we have crops that we grow. We have, but stuff like that, stuff like that would get cut off. I mean,
but we're not even supposed to have those things all year long. They're supposed to be seasonal anyway. But we're so greedy. We want everything now. And lots of it, and more of it, and bigger, and I got more than you. You see, I'm going to post it. I'm going to post it so you can know I have more than you.
Okay, Jim, I'm going to put you on the spot. Would you retire and move to Puerto Rico? Knowing what you do that?
I'd like to have a home in Puerto Rico, yes.
I know someone who lived there for a couple of years that I worked with, and if you got the money, it's really nice. If you can buy.
I mean, I went back there, and I'm like, it was hard to leave, and that's how I knew I had to have a home there. Like, it was hard to come back here.
That's my favorite island. I love
because like the beauty of it, the water, the beach, the air, like you could breathe, the palm trees, the people, and everybody's nice and tanned, and and then coming back here, like as soon as I hit the airport here, I was like, the Americanos no me gustan. I was back here like, you horrible people, right? Yeah. So I would love to have a home in Puerto Rico. It was hard to leave. I was like, yeah, man, I feel like I'm home. So,
when I went to Aruba,
but I think about that a lot. I can't see me dying here and being buried here. I can't see
all I will say though to all of this is, when you go places, you always, and not necessarily Puerto Rico, because I know you have roots there and everything. At least I know you grew up in New York, but but when you go places, you get those rose-colored glasses, and you think, I would love to live here because it's a vacation. And then you get like I did that with Alaska. Alaska's beautiful. And then I lived there for a year, and I was like, I got to get out of here.
And this is, but I wouldn't do it. I'd like to do it with some comfortable money. Right. I don't want to. I don't want to go from here to struggle somewhere else or struggle. It's like, oh, look at the economy and look at it. So I would like to be somewhere comfortable. But I've always from very young thought of like my final place of life, the last part of my life. I have to be somewhere tropical. I don't know, Jamaica. You know what I'm saying?
Me too.
Brazil,
I gotta be near water.
Puerto Rico. I got to be somewhere warm and beautiful. America's
Costa Rica.
Go to Puerto Rico, be prepared to deal with hurricanes.
Costa Rica.
There's dangers all over the world, though. I mean, you can't even go to a movie theater here and somebody be like, I feel like committing suicide and killing people watching Batman. Like,
I told you.
So
there's. That's a good point. Yeah.
I told you now. I literally have to plan when I leave the house and I have to take the train. I have to plan for suicides. It's that common now.
Oh, you're in New York, of course.
Yeah, I got a plan for suicides. Like, I'm like, like literally my best friend and I, like, he's like, I got to leave out early just in case someone kills herself. I got to go.
Like, because they jump. Like for people who don't know, New York City, the New York City subway, a lot of people for some reason choose to commit suicide by jumping on the tracks, and it makes everybody late. And there's like this running joke, this recurring joke that New Yorkers are like, "What the fuck? You had to kill yourself. I'm gonna be late for work," because they shut down everything to get the body off the
That's
tracks.
the
And
big.
then,
All these bridges we have, why do they choose the train? Like,
see,
we've got tons of bridges.
opinion and statements are made on the block, Jen's not necessarily
I'm gonna write
thoughts and
a
opinions.
manual of places that they can choose instead of the subway. Because I missed
Places
my
you
whole
can,
trip.
places you can kill yourself aside from New York City subway, so you don't make anyone late. Thank
Yes.
you.
Yes,
They do
be
that.
considerate.
They do that to get as many people angry at them as their last.
Right? Their
No,
last
that's how I
hurrah.
feel. Like, it's like that thing against society. Like, I'm gonna, like that one last F you to society, and that's what I
Yes.
feel. And it worked. It worked. I missed my
It
whole freaking
works.
trip.
It
Lost
works.
out on all my money.
But now it's more common. So it's like,
it's so common now.
but yeah, no, the hurricanes and PR, I've done, relief work for that and fundraising. I know it's bad, but I look at it like I look at anything else. Like, I've seen so many people die right here. You know what I mean? Just at a theater, at school, at
Yeah.
you know what I mean, at a
And
restaurant,
you
at the
know
mall.
it's coming. I mean, it's not
Mhm.
like it sneaks up on you like a tornado or God, an
Yeah.
earthquake.
Yeah. Like,
So
if you're alive, that's what I'm saying. When people try this ageist shit, like, oh, you're whatever years old, I'm like, bitch, you damn right, I'm alive, bitch. I'm alive. And I hope I go all the way till my clock stops, but I am alive. 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. The goal of birth is to live as long as possible.
I can see
That
you.
is the goal.
I can see you now, Jen. You'll be like 90 years old. Here we are on the block again. I'm still kicking it. You know you want this body right here. You know you want
That's
it.
right. You toothless bastards are not going to tell me what to do.
You're telling me
No, you're lame.
Get a dog.
You stupid fucks. Wait, I got to drink my big. No, but yeah, funny as fuck. I'll be long gone. I'll be somewhere in a little hut in Puerto Rico making like seashell jewelry, and you know what I mean.
Now, the one thing, no matter where I move to, I'm not giving up my New York City apartment. That will never happen.
You got to keep that.
Never happen.
You gotta
Especially because
keep that.
I pay a good rate, so like I can double this and make my money back and all that other stuff.
Are you in a rent controlled area? Rent control. Oh.
Yes, it would exactly. But by the time I moved over here, they was trying to do away with it. They had done away with it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was going to kind of go with it, but then I know, because I had got in under a good price, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was pretty much paying the same amount as I was paying for my Atlanta apartment, but with way much like I could fit my Atlanta apartment in here 3 times, right? And still probably have room left over. So I was like, okay, cool, I'm good. But then I started hearing stories about people saying their landlord will knock on the door like, yeah, we're doubling next month. And you're like, oh, shoot. So I said,
just so fucking cruel.
It's cruel. So I was like, I don't want to be a sitting duck. So basically, I went back and forth with them for like a year, and they finally caved. Because it was a bunch of like almost no's and some no. And I was like, no, I'm not going out of fight. So I got it. So yeah, that's why I'm not giving up. If you got rent control in New York, you do not give up your apartment. I don't care what happens. You do not give it up.
Yeah, that's like my grandmother's apartment. Has been in my family for like 40 years. It's just crazy.
Yeah,
same fucking apartment.
40, 50 years is the average on this block.
Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys, we are out of here. This was fun. We started with Tekashi 6ix9ine stupid ass, but we went everywhere. I love the conversation. It's just good to know that people are thinking outside the box as far as living elsewhere, right? Because this country, it's rough. Don't get me wrong. It's like the Bronx, New York. I'm glad I'm from here. Right. And you know, I mean, it prepares you for a lot of other things in life. I'm just thinking now that I'm getting older, I'm thinking of quality of life. I'm thinking of peace. I'm thinking of walking down the beach and saying good morning to people, and they say good morning back. And there's not a risk of, you know what I mean, school shootings and the movie. It's congested here, and social media has made it 1,000 times worse. The hate here, the vitriol. It doesn't matter what it is. It's race, it's gender, it's LGBTQ. Like, they don't want anybody, they don't want people to live. They don't want you to live. They don't want you to be happy. If you're married, you're fucking subservient. You're not submissive, and then the manosphere and you're masculine. It's so horrible.
Even if you are happy, they attack you for being happy.
Yes. You can't do it. They don't want you to live.
No. And another thing, when I went to Aruba, because they call it one happy island, and it's very true. I was like, oh, you are really like this. So I talk to a lot. I like to talk to the locals and stuff. And I was like, "Oh, you all really like this?" They was like, "Yeah, this is just how we rock." And what I found out there's like no one's too rich, no one's poor. It's just they kind of just they got everything they need and a little bit more.
Lily, I went to Hawaii, Kona, Kalua, the big island. Lily, all across the side of the road, there are boxes. I don't know if people notice. If you've been to Hawaii, then you know. But they're all aside the road. As you're driving on the road, there are people who have homes, and then they have boxes right outside of the road, and they have fruit. Everybody does it, and they say, leave as much as you want. Money. And this is fruit that they grow. This is all homegrown. They got all kinds of fruit on the thing. So I'm like, no one's watching this? No one's here? No one, Lily. Everybody has this fresh, beautiful Hawaii fruit, and there's a sign on all of them. And some of them decorate their boxes different way,
Yeah.
but all the signs are the same. Like, leave whatever money you can and take what you want. And I was like, oh my God,
Yeah.
this is how other people live.
And when you see that, because I've seen that in places, that's when you realize shit's fucked up and it doesn't have to be like that. That's when you see that there's a possibility, there's a world that doesn't exist. Like that's why I encourage people to travel. And even if you don't have the money to travel, you all, because I'm not one of those people who's like, oh, like, you know, like I used to joke about Oprah. She's like, listen, if you're ever feeling stressed, just go get you a private island. Okay. What you're gonna do is you're gonna buy you, you know, you're gonna get you a chef and a maid, and what they're gonna do is you're like, oh, but Oprah can't, you know. So listen, if you don't have the money to travel, it's okay. We're fortunate today where we have these things. Travel through here. Go like just go on different places and see how people live. Get under, like, expand your mind, expand your horizons to know that there's other possibilities than what we're being bombarded with every day. So
yeah, for sure. And that's what I do on social media. I started unfollowing a lot of channels where I was like, who are you, mother? And I started following travel pages that have a lot of beaches, surfing, whales, dolphins. Like, I just started following people that are into, I follow this little family that they travel all over the world. They live out of a van. That woman's life is like, her life gives me life when I see her. She lives out of a van and they just travel. Yeah. And I'm just like, there's so much more to see. So just give yourself balance, because this country's not going to give you balance. They're going to give you hate and vitriol and sickness and congestion. And that's, you know, they need to keep you sick. So just have balance. So on that note, guys, anything else?
I'm actually thinking about living on a boat, you all. That's my real.
That Don was talking about that. I was like, I don't live on no boat.
No, let me tell you. So my uncle owns 2 boats in DC, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I went for a boat ride with him last year. Mm-hmm. I was shocked at the community that they have and like the setup inside of these boats. And it was just like, it was such a great community. Like everyone looking after each other. And it wasn't, I mean, the first person I saw was this like real uppity, but not in a bad way. This like real uppity, bougie Black woman and her daughter that's living in a boat. And I'm just like, I would have thought, like, you know what I'm thinking of, somebody living in a boat. I'm thinking like long stringy hair that has been washing his mom, right? And she's like pinky in the air and just, you know, and just so flawless and such a diva. And I'm like, well, if she can do it, I can too. Like,
right.
You know, so yeah, there's options. There's options.
Oh, wait. This just in. Love says, Jen, you can't do Freaky Friday on Good Friday. Good thing for me, I'm an atheist. So all the freaks that are available and they're not religious, come on over, pull up to On the Vlog with Jen for Freaky Friday per usual, okay?
Or we can call it Good Freaky Friday.
There you go. We could talk about something good.
Yeah.
There you go. A good Freaky Friday. Perfect. Thank you, Lee. This is why I love you. This is why you get the call. All right. It'll be Good Freaky Friday. Or we'll talk about something good. We don't have to talk about ass cracks and titties tomorrow. We could talk about something good. There you go.
I think that's good, though.
Right? Good Freaky Friday. There you go. We don't have to talk about nipple play and the cankles of nipples. Like
the cankles of nipples.
Yeah.
I'll never forget that. Like the vision is it's ingrained in my head now. Now you know I'm looking at all titties, right? Cankles. Right? Are those the cankles?
You all got me looking at all kinds of stuff now. It's
right?
Crazy.
The things we learn here. Woo. All right, guys. So throw in a circle for Saint Easter. Thank you for holding me down in the chat. Thank you for the super chats. Thank you guys. Love seeing you as per usual. Come by tomorrow. I'll keep it light for all the holy folk. Keep it as light as I can. Don't forget, if you're lurking and watching, April 15th, prepare to be sick of me because we're going to be talking about this till it happens. April 15th is our Black Talent Battle. If you have a talent, you want to share it with us, we do. We are giving a cash prize. April 15th, cam up, show us your talent for 2 minutes. People will vote for you. We will critique, but the audience will vote, and you can win $100 cash just for giving us your talent for 2 minutes, April 15th. On the Black with Jen at Gmail, send me a picture and your talent, what it is that you can do. Okay. On the Black with Jen, so we can put you on the list. We're only taking 10 people. This guy sent me a picture, but I was like, and he's holding like a little beat machine, but he didn't say anything. So I'm like, I don't know what it means. Is he going to come play his beat machine? Does he make beats?
Is he gonna beat off?
Right. So please, people, if you're going to Gmail me, I need to know what it is you do. On the Black with Jen at Gmail, send me your picture and tell me what your talent is. Don't just hold like, spoons in your hand, because you have to let me know what we're going to get. Okay. And then you could possibly get $100 cash. Thank you so much for the last super chat of the night. Don Lamont says, hit the like button, and please do that for me on your way out. Hit that like and subscribe. Hope you enjoyed. We went a little all over the place, but tonight was gonna, I knew we were gonna kind of freestyle tonight. And I'm glad that we did. I feel good about it. I love you guys so much. Good night.
All right. Good night.
All right, guys, hit that like and subscribe for me, por favor. I appreciate you. Thank you for being here. Don't forget, it also helps me if you leave comments in the algorithm for me. Leave the comments for the algorithm, right? In my comment section. Don't forget, On the Block with Jen on all social media platforms. And we're looking forward to seeing you April 15th here for Black Talent Battle. And if it's not you, let your talented friends know. Come on up here and give it to us, all right? We will judge, and then you may win. All right. Love, you're crazy. I see your comment. All right, guys. Good night. See you mañana. Bronx, stand up.